Notice how Colleen changed her viewpoint that episode 1 is out now. Yes, so basically, Colleen had to shift to promoting this as like a proper podcast that's going to be happening every week, just based on the fact that Trisha did that, and if not, Colleen would look really, really, really bad. So anyway, we have it. Before we get to that, I want to see that Soph, a friend of the show, just read out their tweets in the previous one, who's a Colleen Ballinger fan, posted this, and it popped up on my like For You section on Twitter now. And it says, the way she's so proud of this. Now, again, this is like Colleen x Sabrina. So this is a Colleen Ballinger fan page at its core. So this isn't the fake media. This is Colleen Ballinger's fans. The way she's so proud of this, I'm genuinely so upset. She doesn't care about us minorities. She doesn't care that she's extending a platform to someone who said the most vile and offensive things. I'm so disappointed. And then we have another Colleen fan saying, first episode, so there is multiple episodes, why does she lie? So her just own fans, and then there's people being like, but she's always supported Trisha, so like, you know what I mean? So this is Colleen's post, I get to play dress up and talk about Broadway for hours, yes please. Trisha and I are insane and decided to do a podcast together, first episode is up now, and then we have that. So basically her fans are like, why are you lying about this being a one-off thing? But Colleen was then being called out, you know, by us for lying, because she's saying that it's not a regular thing, Trisha's saying it is. So she's being called out for a liar by two different people, but obviously, you know, she has to choose one that she has to stand behind, so she's just gonna lie either way, mama. But anyway, yeah, I want to show that because it popped up, and I think it's very important to show Colleen Ballinger's fans, you know, voicing their things rather than just, you know, us, the toxic media. So let's get into it. They have posted and said, hey guys, we cannot express how deeply thankful we are for you watching, caring, subscribing, and leaving love. We joke about being cockroaches of YouTube, but honestly, the fact that you're still here means the world. We're filming episode 2 this week. What topics should we discuss, or would you be interested in us talking more about? So they are now saying that this is going to be a regular thing, even though a couple days ago, Colleen Ballinger said she had no intention of it being that. So obviously, it either had to be Trisha lying or Colleen lying. And because Colleen wouldn't want Trisha to turn on her, she would take the fall. All right, here we go. Are we ready? I want to see some readies in chat. I'm excited to start. Okay, we're ready. Let's go.
I'm Colleen Ballinger.
I love the music again.
I'm Trisha Paytas.
I bet you didn't expect to see this.
Or maybe you did, because...
Wait, hold on. I feel like for the start of this.
Hey everyone, I'm Colleen Ballinger.
And I'm Trisha Paytas.
I bet you didn't expect to see this.
Or maybe you did, because we've been talking about it for a long time.
So probably definitely were expecting it. So yeah, here we are. We're doing a podcast. This podcast is called Oversharing.
Is this music over the entire fucking thing? Please, for the love of God, can it just be the intro?
This is a good one. Yeah, this is good.
You and I have both had a very long relationship with the internet, and I think you've been on longer than me.
Thank God. Holy shit. If that was going to be the entire thing. Whoa. Oh, God. Anyway, I did not retain a single thing they said in those 29 seconds. I was just busy on the performance. I had to commit if it was. All right, okay, let's go.
January 4th, 2007 was my first video.
I was 2008.
Oh,
so
really?
You were longer than me, yes.
God, it's crazy to be on that long. It's like 16 years
I
from
know.
YouTube, which is like insane.
So insane. We want to do oversharing because we both have overshared our whole lives on the internet. Like, obviously. Mm-hmm. Y'all have seen us cry a lot on the internet, both of us, individually. And we've had...
Trisha's Bob. Someone in my previous video said that Trisha looks like a Lego person, you know, with like the stuck-on Bob. What's your name? BLB, so they calling you Bob.
Very different careers on the internet. We've both had, you know, very separate, very different careers. But somehow...
What do you mean? Colleen's full thing is trolling with Miranda Sings, and Trisha's full thing is trolling with Trisha Paytas.
We both ended up on the floor crying a lot, also.
Yeah.
And we've always been friends. We've always, like, known...
She just lying. Well, like I said, she was always friends with Trisha, but she would shit talk her so much behind the scenes. So, I mean, if Trisha didn't find out, then I guess that's, you know, BFFs forever.
Each other and been friends and whatever, but never been, like, close.
Yeah, never deep. We never got, like...
Yeah, because you would make fun of her all the time.
deep with each other.
No.
Recent, since I became like, I became a mom, like we've been closer, but
yeah.
And you could take those mommy exploiting tips from her. Smile, Malibu.
But we just every time we are around each other, which has been rare in the last decade.
Yeah.
We don't stop talking. Like we just talk nonstop. We love doing mukbangs together, and
You talk nonstop, or you talk 90% of the time, and then another 8% of the time, Trisha talks for one of those, and you talk for the other one. Oh my god, remember whenever they were doing mukbangs, and Colleen would ask Trisha a question about her life, Trisha would start to answer, and then Colleen would one-up her and talk for another 15 minutes? We're already 2 minutes into this, and we haven't heard just a single sentence from Trisha other than a response to what Colleen talks about. Oh my god, no wonder y'all talk for hours. Trisha's trying to finally get to her part.
And we mentioned, like, what if we did a podcast? And a lot of you got excited, and we got excited. And we were just like, well, what if we just...
No one was getting excited. Your own fans were pleading you. Your own fans were begging you to not do this. If you watched the one we posted, like, yesterday or the day before, her fans were begging her not to do this. So, just lying.
To do it. So it is a podcast, but it's also kind of just like us just doing this.
Yeah, we don't have like anybody, any company, any spot, like nothing. We like literally put this together in like my basement, and then we're like, let's dress up in costume. And I don't know, we just kind of like threw it all together.
The reason it took so long is because we've talked about doing this since like December, since we got together to do the mukbang at my house, and then we were like,
which everyone made fun of Colleen for not letting Trisha talk about her own birth experience. But
like, what if we did a podcast? This would be so fun. So we've been talking about it and like hoping and waiting that someone would do it with us, and then finally we were like, why don't we just do it ourselves? And like, I'm sure people would maybe do it with
a company doesn't want to work with Colleen Ballinger and Trisha Paytas?
us, but we're like, let's just do it ourselves.
We
and
had
have fun
some
with
people,
it.
there were some like companies that were there, but then we're kind of like, we kind of didn't know, so we're like, let's just do it ourselves, because we didn't know what we wanted to do either. Like you said, is this a collab channel where it's
We
like
don't know.
O2L, where we're like just posting like mukbangs together, because we don't know. Maybe this won't be a podcast every week, maybe it will be.
We think with this, honestly, like, if we're being totally honest with you guys, this could be the only video that ever gets posted on this
Which is why
channel.
we wanted to go full out.
Yeah, because we were like, let's go full out. Let's do costumes and like photo shoot and everything. Because like, what if we never do it again? Because we don't even know what this is. We just know that we like to talk and hang out and dress up, and
we like to talk, or you like to talk at.
We both love theater, and we both love being moms, and we're like, let's just do it and see what happens. So anyway, all that to say, when we're coming up with names,
they talk so fast. I promise you this isn't even sped up, but I like people that talk like this. I like people that talk relatively quickly. It's like a normal speed in my head. I like it.
One of the names was like something about cockroaches, because we
You
just
came up
won't
with a
die.
list. You had like
I had a list. I was like,
look at that. Trisha goes to make a point in the conversation, like agrees with Colleen, and then Colleen agrees over Trisha agreeing louder. I love it.
Anyway, all that to say, when we were coming up with names, one of the names was like something about cockroaches, because we
You
just
came up
won't
with a
die.
list. You had like
I had a list.
Trisha tried to be like, oh, I did that too, and then Colleen was like, yeah, but I did it. I love it. Look, just one more time. There's gonna be so many of these moments.
Never gets posted on this
Which is why
channel.
we wanted to go full out.
Yeah, because we were like, let's go full out. Let's do today. We love it.
Ever.
Just this one episode.
No,
On us and try to like, burn us down. We're just like, I'm a cop on us. Never gets posted on this channel.
Oh, I think I skipped past
wanted to
it.
go full out.
Yeah, because we were like, let's go full out. Let's do costumes and like
photo shoot
and
I
everything.
haven't.
Because like, what if we never do it again? Because we don't even know what this is. We just know that we like to talk and hang out and dress up, and we both love theater, and we both love being moms, and we're like, let's just do it and see what happens. So anyway, all that to say, when we were coming up with names, one of the names
Oh,
was
here it is. Okay, so last time, look how Trisha tries to add to the conversation, but then Colleen like puts down like her doing thing and brings it back to herself.
like something about
Wait.
cockroaches, because
You
we
came
just
up
won't
with a
die.
list. You had like
I had
20.
a list.
You were
I was
good.
like so excited.
Yeah, and now Colleen started and ended the conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of them was something about cockroaches, because we just won't die on the internet. Like,
we're here forever.
no matter how many times people are like, oh, get off the internet, we're like, we're here to stay. We love it.
Yes.
And like, we love we can't die. Like, no matter how many times you crush us and stomp on us and try to like, burn us.
Or how you do it to other people, Colleen, including the one you're sitting with. And you, Trisha, the one you're sitting with, and all those other people as well. Oh my god, for them to talk about people trying to get rid of them and cancel them and stuff, and, their cockroaches, and, like, the same thing they've said about other people. Like, they've both, done this to people and talked shit about people and whatever like this. So it's, like, comes across as just, like, you exposing that you're an awful person.
Us
A
down,
match
we're just
made
like,
in heaven.
I'm a cockroach and I'm never leaving.
Until we actually die. One day we'll die.
Yeah,
but,
we will. Yeah.
But our videos will live on forever. This podcast will stay forever.
Just this one episode.
No, we're manifesting. We're gonna manifest.
Oh, that's not the thing. We're trying to manifest. That's how this happened.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
Because it kind of like went away, and we were like, oh, we're not gonna do it. Whatever. You know, it's not gonna happen.
Is the audio levels of the podcast too loud for you, or are they okay?
We just got busy, and then finally one day we're like, let's just manifest positivity and goodness, because like things weren't really going right in either of our lives.
Yeah.
At that point. We were kind of just like the same day, just kind of having like a rough time, and then it was like, let's just manifest goodness and positivity and just like things happening, and then it happened.
It's crazy because like it was weird because like in my head I always see you as like doing so much and doing everything, and it's this when you're like, oh yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't know where it's next in my career, and then I'm stuck. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I've been feeling, because when you've done it for so long doing YouTube, and we've done totally different things, but it's like when you did it for so long, you're like, what's the next move, what's the next thing that's gonna like inspire us, right? Because like YouTube is fun. I still post every single day, and like, you know, it's fun for me, but it's like, what's gonna inspire us? And like, this is when you
Jesus, Colleen, are you gonna allow her to talk for that amount of time? Jeepers, Trisha. Don't hog the mic.
And dress up. And today, doing the photo shoot with you, I was like, this is like my soulmate. Literally, the only other person to do that was Moses for me. So that's why I was like, oh my god, this is like my platonic soulmate that I've missed my whole life.
Excited because like well, first of all, I love theater, so anything that's we haven't even said, we're literally just like Chicago. We're so bad at this. Like, this is the worst podcast, but like, who cares? Yeah. So what made me want to do it is that like, I don't care if it is something for career or not. To me, like, it was like, okay, I don't care if this ends up being a podcast, collab channel, nothingness, whatever. Like, let's just have fun. Like, that kind of was both of our motivation for this. Is like, we were feeling kind of like stuck and like, what's next for us, whatever. And then we're like, who cares? Like, let's just like do something that's.
I mean, truly, Colleen said, who cares? Because look at the response from our fans.
Fun for us that we enjoy, that we love, and just hang out and talk and dress up. Like, why not? And
it's creative.
If people watch it, cool. And if they don't, who cares? Like, it's just something creative and fun for us to do. And so we are dressed today. We're trying to think of different like women like duos throughout history.
List too. We still have a list of
yes.
Because I was like, let's do this. We were sending each other emails like back in January of like reference photos. When like I think you had Romy and Michelle, which is like one of my favorites, and I was like, oh my god,
do that. Should we do that next?
Yeah, for sure. Wait, which one would you want to be? That's the thing.
I don't care.
It's so crazy though, as much as they're saying about like, oh, like we have no idea what this is gonna be, but how much Colleen is talking about like next time we do this, just for her to go home and be like, oh, we're never doing that again.
We're both like, because we're saying too, like with Wicked, you're like, we'll both be Glinda. Although I want to be Alpha because I've never done an Alpha cosplay. So
then you can do that.
Yeah, because I've done so many Glindas. But,
sure. I'm just not a very good blonde, and I also was
you're such a good blonde. You're such a good blonde.
I also thought that this would have been switched. Like when we brought up Roxy and Velma, I was like, oh, I guess I would be Velma and she'd be Roxy because blonde and brunette. But then I'm kind of living for this.
I love the switch. I love this. When you were blonde, I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything. Well, also you are like. Well, I was watching it last night, and I was like, okay, so first of all, you're kind of like the Roxy in general, like just like the look and the vibe. But Velma, you're more so because she's like the established like star, and Roxy's just like, I want to be you, and then like Velma's like, no, I'm too big of a star for you or whatever. And that's how I felt like with us. And then the canceling, Chicago like canceling, they like.
That's how Colleen feels, or that's how Trisha feels about Colleen, someone that's so popular that they're basically like a bitch and like untouchable.
Kill their like husband, so every time you kill like a husband, like, you know, that's like the cancel when they come back or whatever, like that. So like we've both been like,
it's like I don't know, they use it, they use the murder as like, fine, you're gonna all cancel me and put me in prison, then I'll get famous.
I know
it's like so wild.
But I never thought of you as canceled at all, ever. When you told me on our last clap, you're like, yeah, like there's like, you know, people that like leave hate comments, I'm like, what, like, you know, and then I like whatever.
I think if you're on the internet, like it's just gonna happen.
What were you gonna say there, Trisha, what were you gonna say there? Is there something you're leaving out, Trishy? Trishy, is there stuff we're leaving out? See how Trisha goes to talk about something there and goes, and then go on, Trishy. Don't be shy.
A husband, like, you know, that's like the cancel when they come back or whatever, like that. So like we've both been like,
it's like I don't know, they use it, they use the murder as like, fine, you're gonna all cancel me and put me in prison, then I'll get famous.
I know,
it's like so wild.
But I never thought of you as canceled at all, ever. When you told me on our last clap, you're like, yeah, like there's like, you know, people that like leave hate comments, I'm like, what, like, you know, and then I like whatever.
And then I like Trishy, don't be shy, Trishy, don't be shy.
If you think if you're on the internet, like, it's just going to happen, you know? And I've been on the internet a long time, and I don't, you know, not everyone's going to like everyone. That's just, like, how the world works. It's not just the internet, but, like, people just are not going to like you.
But what if they have reasons?
In general, sometimes. And they find things no matter what. I'm not a perfect person, girl. Like, obviously, no one is, like, I mess up all the time. I'm learning I'm just a disaster constantly. But, like, I do feel like I'm always trying to, like, learn and grow and be better. And I definitely see that in you, like, especially since you become a mom, like really trying to grow and learn and
this is like those moments online where people do compilations of Trisha of like people being like, oh my god, she changed, and then something happens, and then they like show that for like years.
You know, be the best you can be for your daughter and for you, and I think that's something that happens when you become a mom too, is like you're just like, oh, life isn't just about me now, it's about this other person. And that's
life isn't just about me, it's about money. Let's get the camera right, baby, smile.
So the reason why we were excited to do this podcast, because we're excited to talk about like our motherhood journeys and being moms. And
6 minutes in and we're already segueing into the mommy part.
And also just all the things we're passionate about, like theater, which is why we're...
Yeah, the original title we liked was Call Her Mommy, but we're like, is that too close to like Call Her Daddy? Yeah. Which I love. I thought like mommy, but then we're like, we don't want to be like a...
Call Her Mommy.
A mommy podcast.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a mommy podcast, but you have no problem being mommy channels? What is that logic? What is that logic, y'all?
This because some people are like, I hope it's not a mommy podcast. It's not like totally mommy podcast because we're like more than just moms.
No, it's only a mommy podcast in the sense that we are mothers.
Yeah.
But like we're not going to sit here and talk.
And your mommy channel is based on the fact that your channel revolves around sharing your kids who can't consent to being on camera.
Give you advice on being a mom. Like I have no place doing that. Like I don't feel like I have a place giving advice on literally anything. Like I'm just like a human who likes to like dress up, and I like to talk, and I like to cry, and I like to share my emotions. I love theater, and I love theater too. You know, so I thought this sounds fun. Like, and we can get to know each other better. And I also love that it's just like I don't think anyone would really ever think that you and I would be in a podcast together. Like I don't think people would like put us as a duo.
No.
And but somehow it really like works. I
think
oh my god. We are 8 minutes in and all they've talked about is how good of a podcast this is gonna be. Show us then! Show us it's gonna be a good podcast. Please! I'm begging! Entertain me!
Excited because like I never really had a lot of female friends, and I didn't really get like into feminine energy until
and Colleen isn't one of them as well. She talks shit about you.
I had my baby, not to be about mommy or whatever, but I realized like, oh, like women like get women, like, you know what I mean? And it's just like a more feminine energy. It's not about like cisgender or anything like that. It's just like the energy that people bring. And like, so when after I had my baby, I was like, oh, I really miss having like those female friendships and like those kind of things. Cause I think I missed out on it for so long because I was insecure. I was all this stuff like that. And just being around it, I was like, oh, I miss this so much. And so doing this podcast with you, I was like super excited. One, that you wanted
oh my god, we're still talking about creating the podcast. Time and place.
Do it because we've done mukbangs on like your channel and it's always been fun. But this is like deep. This is, you know, I've always done it with like, I've always been like with guys, you know, like guy friends or whatever like that. And it's like fun, you know, guys are cool or whatever. But now it's like fun to have like this like mommy feminine energy, and I love it.
There's something about moms too that it's like, not to be elitist about it, like oh, moms are
no,
but it's just once you become a mom, it's like you
once you become a mom, you become so much better than every single other person, even people who want to be moms but can't be moms, because you're so much better than everyone.
Empathize, sympathize, and relate to other moms so deeply because it's such an intense experience. And so like I feel like you were totally right. Like that's when
Did the video restart because we're still talking about the same thing? Oh no, they're just talking about the same thing for this amount of time.
We really started talking more. I feel like it was a much more casual kind of friendship. We knew each other. But then once, you know, I found out you were pregnant, which I found out very early on.
First. You were like the second day, I think the second day I knew, you texted me and I just told you.
Yeah, it was like I texted you something and like, I think you FaceTime. No, I FaceTime because you texted me.
Yeah.
I texted you and you texted me like, I'm pregnant. And I've never FaceTimed you in my life, obviously. And I FaceTimed you and I was like, what's happening? Are you pregnant?
Jeepers creepers, you're trying to tell me they aren't good friends and they haven't even like called?
For real? I was so excited.
Do these people know each other?
Excited for you because I knew it was something you wanted so bad, and I knew it was something that was a challenge for you, and like I was so excited for you. And I also felt so terrible because you were like, I'm so scared. And I was like, oh no, did I? Because you're like, I've seen your videos and you're miserable. And I was like, oh no, did I make her sad? I was trying to make you scared. And I'm so glad you had a good pregnancy because...
Yeah, thank God. I know. That's why I was like, well, let me share this because I'm like, and I felt bad saying like, this is so easy. But I was like, I was so scared because not just you, but a lot of people. And it's hard for a lot of people, obviously. So I was just like, well, maybe I should share that. It's like, actually, like, I've had really easy. Thank God. Some people say the second pregnancy, they're like, it could be hard. But I really didn't have any morning sickness. It was like the weirdest thing. I was like so calm. I was like glowing. I was just chilling in life. I was like, what? Where'd my anxiety go? I don't know. It was really weird.
I'm so jealous. That's amazing.
I hope, but
that's another good thing. If we ever do talk about like pregnancy and motherhood and whatever.
If we ever do talk about pregnancy and mother, girl, are we gonna talk about anything else?
Our experiences are so different.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for you and you sharing the positives of it, because I really only do share my experience, which was really negative. And like, so, and I don't ever want to scare anyone from it, because it's obviously so worth it. And the best
I obviously
thing
don't want
ever
to scare anyone from having any babies, because let me tell you, they can make you a lot of money
to have a kid. And like, I would go through in a heartbeat again for them. So it's like, I don't want to scare people out of like being pregnant or having kids.
Yeah.
But my experiences were not wonderful. But yours was. And I'm so happy.
Yeah.
I wish it was like that for everybody.
No, but I think it's good to talk about those things, especially like motherhood stuff we've talked about too. When people talk about it, it's like not enough people talk about it. Whereas like I didn't feel like good enough to be a mom. It was kind of like maybe I'm not a good mom, but then you have the baby, and then you're just like, I don't know, you can't like take it back. And so it's like all those things I think are important to talk
Holy
about.
shit, she's talking so quickly.
Now at her age 8 months, it's like the best age.
Oh my god, my friend Shiz here. Hello. Someone who was friends with me the entire time that the Colleen situation was going on. So, fun fact, you see that person commenting, my mod that's in the chat? They know equally as much information about my time with Colleen as what I do, because I showed them everything in the moment. They're the only person that really I've been friends with since that. So, little fun piece of... We were in the fandom together, and then we just stood by each other.
But like,
there we go. I can verify everything that basically I say about Colleen. There we go. Confirmed. Thank you all. We seed everything. We have screenshot folders.
In the beginning, I was very nervous. I was like, I don't know what to do.
I think that's very relatable. I think everyone feels that way. But I want to
back to
cut my own self off here and say,
Trisha goes, I'm in there, and Colleen goes, oh, I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm trying to cut me off. You just cut her off.
like, we don't have a plan for this.
No plan.
Like,
what the fuck? We are 10 minutes in, and we've heard them say we don't have a plan for this podcast like 3 times. Time and place. And you did it on the Oversharing with Colleen and Trisha podcast.
As you can see, we're literally just talking. So, like, we went into it going, like, should we do games? Should we plan segments? And I was like,
a producer.
I feel like that would maybe be horrible for us, because, like, we would get so off topic trying to talk. Like, I feel like we've gone on 8 topics. But, like, so this might be so boring to everyone watching.
You've gone on 8 topics. No, you've gone on 2 topics. For a long time.
Just, like, what are they talking about? But, like, we're going to go all over the place.
We also talked about, like, so much before. There's just so much. Like, that's what I'm trying to say, because there was so much good conversation before. So that's the problem, is, like, we talked so much good.
So they're basically saying, oh, we've already, like, talked about interesting topics, but we did it before we filmed. So now we're just going to talk about this.
Things, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, but there's so much, because I'm like, okay, there's mommy, there's this. Because even, like, our...
Okay, they keep being like, oh, there's mommy that we can talk about, but then they keep saying, oh, let's not talk about mommy. Because they don't want to be a mommy podcast.
Another title, because I just keep going back to our original emails of Broadway Babies, and that's why I was
Broadway
like,
Babies, that's a cute one too. Yeah, because we both were like, what if we just sing? Like, what if we just like make music videos and just like do Broadway? Because
manifesting Broadway.
Like anyone who likes Broadway and like theater stuff, like I want to talk to them all day long.
I know a Broadway podcast would be everything, but I don't know if that's niche, or I feel like it's
people do Broadway podcasts.
Do they?
Yeah, but I just love that like you were willing to dress up like at a Broadway show.
I was so excited you were. And you were, like, into it, too, because I always get work.
Colleen acting like that wasn't a regular thing on Frenemies.
I'm always like, oh my god, this is, because, it's, like, literally in my house, because people always ask me, like, what do you get glam for, just to your house? I'm like, yeah, kind of, just to have, like, photo shoots in our house, but I think it's cute. I think it's everything.
Oh, I feel like everyone's gonna be like, they're such losers. Or, like, women just, like, dressing up for no reason in Trisha's basement with they're calling it a podcast, so it's just, like, a random, like...
For someone who complains about getting so much hate, she definitely plants the hate before she gets it, doesn't she? Here she is just telling them what to say to her.
YouTube channel.
But isn't every video is this podcast of people with microphones? I mean, that's, like, the thing. Like, everyone has a podcast, which is, like, I want to be on a podcast, too. Like, and I haven't done a podcast in like so long. You have a podcast.
I have one with my husband, and so
like, you've done it so long.
Yeah, we've been doing it a year, 2 years, a year. I don't remember. We've done a lot.
It's easy with your husband though, because it's like you live in the same place.
Yeah, we just like after the kids go to bed one night a week, we like just like talk for an hour. But it's the same kind of thing where we just kind of talk. So like we're doing this for us and we're just like having fun with it. Yeah. But if you guys have any suggestions of what you want to see, like we're down, like because this could be a podcast, we could end up just.
A suggestion I would give is to get into it. Like, to get into it. The only time they talk is for an hour. Yeah, that did sound like that. Colleen did just say, once our kids go to bed, we'll finally talk for an hour.
Like, vlogging together, we could, like...
just dress up and take pictures.
Oh my god, get into it!
Just do it for ourselves. We don't know what this is, we just know we wanted to hang out and dress up.
Oh my god! 13 minutes in and all we've heard is we don't know what this is.
So, like... That's probably weird to everyone, and I really don't care.
But I love it
because
because it's like, it's no pressure. It's like so no
Oh my
pressure.
god, move on!
One thing I did want to ask you about, and I started to ask you about earlier, and
I
then
have questions for each. I have like so many questions for you.
How are we ever going to get through this?
I know.
We're
Oh
just,
my god, we were just about to get into the first topic and then they bring it back again to creating a podcast!
it's like skipping from topic to topic.
I know,
As
sorry.
I'm trying to be patient when we're talking about things, I'm like, okay, don't interrupt, and just let's...
They
on
were
the topic.
so close. They were so close. So close to beginning.
And I was like, but I want to say something.
No, jump in. I love it.
Okay, so I want to know from you how much your body has changed or what you've noticed
Okay, we're getting immediately into mommy talk. Fine. Thank you, Colleen, for changing the topic.
has changed since having Malibu.
Oh my
I
God.
thought you didn't want this to be a mommy thing. Didn't you just spend the 13 minutes going back and forth saying that you didn't want this to be a mommy podcast? Why is our first topic about... So whenever you became a mommy...
Your body changes so much after having kids.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy because once
I
again,
fear
was,
this
like,
will be
after
boring.
after I gave birth, I like had no appetite. Everything tasted like metal to me. Like I couldn't eat anything. So I actually like lost like so much weight. I actually was like under the weight I started at. So I was like 226 when I started, and then I got down to like 210, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, wow, I'm so skinny. This is so
After you
easy.
had Malibu?
Yeah, because I just like nothing tasted good. Like I would eat like a taquito that I used to love, and it tastes like literal blood in my mouth. I was like, I
What?
can't eat it. Yeah, it was so weird. So I was like losing weight pretty fast, and I was like, wow, okay, this is like so easy. I'm like losing weight again. During my pregnancy, I literally didn't gain any weight. As soon as I had the baby, it went back down to my normal weight. So it was like
Of course, Colleen talks about bodies first. Yeah, her favorite thing. No. I was just gonna basically say about how she's like so hypocritical because she loves to focus on her own body and other people's bodies and weight conversation, but then will say that people are using it against her whenever it's mainly anything she talks about with people or brings up. Literally. Girl, she was commenting on her baby's weight, like, right out of the womb.
eat. It was like
But
opposite.
you lost weight when
That's
you were...
interesting that her initial conversation with Trisha is about losing weight and, like, weight gain and stuff. Oh my god, the lone gypsy, thank you so much for subscribing. Yeah, this isn't about the baby's weight, this is about Trisha's body, which again, I'm not gonna say is something that, her and Corey would make fun of Trisha for, but, they were, not the nicest to her.
You got pregnant too, didn't you?
I lost weight when I was pregnant because I was full all of a sudden. Like I carried high, so all my organs were so high. Like I literally couldn't eat like a half a pizza without getting full. It was very weird. So
Wow.
I only gained and I was like, wow, this is great. I'm so lucky. Well, and then afterwards I lost a bunch of weight, but now I've like gained some of it back, and then my organs like went up. So I carried really high. And so I think my organs stay here. So now it still looks like people like say I'm pregnant or whatever, but it's like it's high. I used to always have like a belly always.
People should never say that to anyone because
I know.
People should never comment about people's bodies right after the topic she brought up about Trisha's body.
What are you implying? But also too, like, you don't know what someone's going through. Like, what if someone's trying desperately to get pregnant and they can't, and like it's so triggering.
And we are. And so when people are like, she's pregnant, and when people are
Thank you,
announcing it
Lynn.
already, and I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not pregnant, and like second of all, it's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of triggering because also like I don't have a choice. Like it's just high right now. So
Wow.
So there we
Oh.
but
the face of someone who doesn't care about someone's conversation. Wow. I love how Trisha is literally telling Colleen right now that talking about her body makes her insecure whenever Colleen brought up a conversation about Trisha's body.
yeah, so that was a hard defeat. We were getting my shoes on
Oh,
earlier.
that's what it was. You're getting you said your feet were bigger now.
So big. They're so wide. And
Oh my
I'm
god,
just
and Colleen's like, and your feet are bigger? Your hands are bigger? Your tummy is bigger? Your head is bigger? That bob is bigger? Like, Colleen is bringing up every single part of Trisha's body that has gotten bigger. Girl, this is so weird.
it's just hard. It's hard because I already had issues with my body beforehand, and so now after I'm trying really not to be hard on myself, but I do have like crying sessions over like being, and it's weird because I've always been bigger, but it's just like my body's changed. Like I'm wider, and the organs.
Oh my
are
god,
higher,
this
and
is
everything-
so weird. This is so weird. So my friend who was with me during the Colleen time, who was also, in the Colleen circle, said, Colleen definitely thinks that she's better than Trisha purely because of weight. Yeah, Colleen loves talking about weight. She really, really, really loves talking about weight. Again, I talked about it in my previous thing. Whenever we were on Snapchat, whenever, we'd send photos back and forth or whatever, she would compliment skinniness, or she would compliment, my thighs, like looking so tiny, because it was in the wake of remember the Mariah Carey skinny meme. So that was the context. However, you would always be like, oh, Mariah's skinny, or you're skinny, or whatever like that. You wouldn't be like, oh, your arms, you know, are getting really thin. Like, yes, like thin legend or something like that. So Colleen loves talking about weight, if you do not know.
Just looks different. I always kind of like, my stomach was a little flat before, but now it's just kind of like high and round.
Oh my god, look at this! Oh my god, so my friend who was with me during the Colleen time, we need a tell-all interview, babe. So much of us have eating disorders after being fans of her.
So,
well, I think you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Colleen, you got so big. You got so large. But you look beautiful, though. Jesus. This is not going to last.
I think that I get like that all the time too. There's like so much of my body that's totally different.
Really?
Oh yeah. Is there anything else for you that like you feel like has changed? Like, are you?
She goes, any other places of you that got fat? She's going fat, fat, fatty right now. Fat, 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 fatty. Colleen is going fat, fat, fat girl. What else got fat, fatty? Do you remember the way Trisha talked on Frenemies about, like, Ethan? Fat, fat, fatty, like, fat boy, whatever. Colleen is literally going... Trisha just asked Colleen, is there any parts of her body that make her feel like that? And Colleen went, before I get to that, you done? You got any more places that you think are fat? Oh my god. Wait. This proves to me that Colleen still hates Trisha, because this is literally what she would do in her videos with her in 2016 when she was talking shit with her with me. You know, it would be, she would make like shady comments, or she'd make like, you know, jokes or something like that. Colleen does the same thing, let me tell you, that Hair by Jay and Jeffree Star did to Trisha on the Vegas trip. Trisha just doesn't know it yet. I love this. Can I go back to that? Yeah, but Trisha, is there any parts of you? Are you done? Are you done calling yourself fat and saying that you hate your body, Trish?
And the organs are higher and everything just looks different. I always kind of...
Time too. There's like so much of my body that's...
Look, so Colleen answering her one.
Totally
different. And then she
Really?
goes, but are you done, fatty?
Well, is there anything else for you that like you feel like has changed?
Oh my god! Someone commented and my auto mob didn't allow it. It says, before I tell you how skinny I am, Trisha, is that all, fatty? Because I don't want you interrupting me whenever I talk about how skinny I am.
Like, or do you feel like that's like those are your main like things?
Oh my god, the hand! Oh, she's going fat, fat, fatty right now. Jesus Christ, I thought Colleen grew out of her mentality of that.
Now with the postpartum hair loss, like at first I was like, oh, my hair's so thick, but it's getting thinner now. Really? I don't know if it's like just bleached it or what, but it's kind of thin again. I don't know. Everything. If I'm being honest, like I'm like really trying my best to be like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like you just had a baby, I'm trying to get pregnant again.
Of course.
Like, but I mean,
you're like 8 months out. Like you're still in the thick of like the postpartum.
But I'm already like, oh man, I wish my boobs were higher. I wish everything, you know, just
yeah.
I don't know about you.
Well,
Trisha's talking about what she wants to change about herself, and Colleen goes, yeah.
Everything, my whole body. Well, how's your C-section scar? I'm curious.
Oh my god! Trisha asked Colleen another question, and Colleen avoids it and brings it back to Trisha. Interesting. Look at this.
Like the postpartum.
But I'm already like, oh man, I wish my boobs
oh my
were
god.
Everything, you know, just
yeah.
I don't know about you.
So this podcast is just Colleen throwing jabs at Trisha because she's not answering anything. Look.
I mean, everything, my whole body. Well, how's your C-section scar?
Ooh.
I'm curious about this.
I just want to show it on YouTube. I don't know if I get flagged because I did show it once, and I'm like, because I love.
Showed it once. Yeah.
Did you?
I think so. I don't think it was flagged. I showed it like for a second because I wanted to show what a postpartum like C-section body could look like.
Yeah, I had no
I'm
idea.
I'm pretty sure I did, didn't I? I think I did. I remember doing it.
Did you? Mine's great. Mine's so little. It's just like, well, okay, this is kind of maybe this is TMI, but like,
well, this is literally called oversharing. We're talking about fupas and C-section scars.
Yeah, okay, so I wondered this.
We should show each other our C-section scars.
Oh, okay, because I was wondering. Okay, we totally can. But I have this like big fupa, and my fupa actually got bigger. Moses knows this is like my biggest insecurity. My fupa got like so.
I love how it's called oversharing, but only one person is doing any sharing.
Puffy,
really?
And it's like
oh my
really
god, hi
puffy
Chloe.
still. And anyways, the scar is like right there. But I always wondered with like thinner girls, like, do you have a fupa? And if so, where's the scar? Is it just above like the little slot, or is there? Because you know I have like.
I know Colleen is beaming at Trisha calling her a thin girl.
Fat above my slot, but then like skinny girls have like no slot.
Oh, or skinny
like,
girls.
Moment. Yeah. The woman moment.
Colleen's in.
I've never heard it called a slot before.
Colleen is so happy right now. Someone has just addressed her in a term that calls her something that's like tiny or skinny or whatever like that. She loves that.
I love that. Okay.
Clearly.
I have a lot to learn learn from you, Trisha.
I want to learn because I'm just like, I don't know. I never.
Well, yeah, I mean, mine's crazy. I'm not a fan of my C-section scar. I wish I was. I wish I could look at it and be like, it's so beautiful, and like I love this because it's like where my twins came out, you know. But like, it's like she's a little crooked.
Really? Is it big? Is it long?
It was. It's not long. I think it's probably the normal C-section size, I guess. But it was an emergency C-section. They did it real fast.
Oh, right.
And so they had to get the babies out. It was a really dangerous situation. So I don't think we're thinking about precision and making sure it was a very straight line. I think they were like, we need to get these babies out immediately. So
Colleen was like, they focused on that rather than trying to get my babies out.
mine's a little crooked, and it's like, the last time I went to my OBGYN, look at oversharing TMI, but I don't care. She was like, oh, you need to go to a dermatologist because it's like, you know, right after you get the C-section, the scar is like raised. Mine's still raised in some parts, and it shouldn't be. It's supposed to be flat.
It's been how long? A year and a half?
A year and a half. She's like, you need to go to a dermatologist because she's like, they'll inject something in there and it'll get rid of it. And I was like, inject? What are you talking about?
Into the scar? To get rid of the scar?
Like inject something into the scar or something. And I haven't made the appointment yet because I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Does it itch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does yours itch?
No, I like looked that up though because I was like looking up symptoms and I was like, hopefully mine's healing. And I heard that there's like itchy.
Yeah, mine still itches. And I asked her about that and she said that's normal. It's not like all the time. It's like maybe once a week I'll be like, it's kind of itching me.
No, that was like the one thing because I looked up just to see if mine was healing okay, and like the biggest thing people said was like mine's itchy. Like I'd go on like these threads, and so I didn't know.
Yeah,
but
there were nights where I was like, oh my god, like it was like super itchy.
Oh my
like, really
gosh,
bad.
and it's raised now.
Yeah, but not
This is riveting.
crazy, just like a little bit, and it's just like it's weird. I showed my C-section scar to my husband on our podcast shortly after the C-section. I mean, he was there when it all happened, but like he was by my face during that.
Yeah, but he wasn't there for whenever I got to record it and make money off it, so we recreated it for a video.
Did Moses like? Was he by your face during the C-section?
Yeah, of course. Like where else? Oh,
you didn't take a peek, did you? You took a peek down at what was going on?
Oh, you did? Oh my god,
I'm so curious. Now I have a million questions for you. Was that crazy? Was it like wild and bizarre? I'll tell you guys what he says since he doesn't have a microphone.
No microphone.
That's wild. Everything's open.
Eric didn't look.
No.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't want you either because.
Well, he was also terrified because I was
the bob is shrinking.
I thought I was dying during my C-section, so he was like.
The bob's going back the further this podcast goes.
Feel it? Were you like aware of what was happening?
The C-section?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't feel it. I could feel my body being.
My mod Andrew said, "Not gonna lie, I'm lapping this shit up," and then in brackets, I am so bored.
Tugged around.
Okay.
Because they had to dig pretty deep to get Maisie because she was way up there and she wasn't ready to come out, and Wesley was lower. So once Wes was out, then they had to kind of dig for Maisie, I guess. So Eric said the weirdest part for him during the C-section was that I was like, my body was numb, but like my whole body was like jerking around on the table a lot, like as they were trying to get her out.
Oh my gosh.
So that was really bizarre for him.
You weren't strapped. Were you strapped?
No, I was not strapped. Thank God. Were you strapped?
Yeah, everybody was strapped. Everybody.
They strapped your arms down?
Yes, because you can't, because you could be out of it and your arms would go in the thing. If
they strapped me down, I blocked it from my memory. I think I would have a heart attack.
I've never heard of someone
I would have been
not.
claustrophobic. I know that I had to have my arms out, like straight out, and if they strapped me down, I was not aware. But I don't think
was I strapped? I was strapped down, right? Or am I just making this
their arms down? I've heard they do that.
Sometimes I'm out of it.
Wow, you're so right. This is not a mommy podcast in any fucking way.
For sure. I don't know. I was out of mine. I was
too
heavy. Did you get fentanyl?
I don't know what. Your hand, were they because they were numb, or her hands were strapped down?
I think they were strapped.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I want to go look at pictures and stuff. I'm like, trying to remember. It was all such a blur, and it was my experience was extremely traumatic.
All they're talking about is exactly what they said they weren't going to.
Correctly, because it was, I really thought the babies weren't going to be alive, and I thought I was going to die. Like it was a very scary situation. So like a lot of it I don't even really remember, but I do remember mostly thinking like that I was going to die. Like once I heard the babies that they're okay, then I started panicking about they took them away. Well, because I was kind of panicked about all of it, but they took out Wes and I heard him cry, so he'd be okay. I hoped. And then Maisie came out and she wasn't crying. She was purple, and we didn't know. And so then once they took the babies away, then they immediately rushed into the NICU, and my doctor told me they're both okay. And, she let me know they're okay. I didn't know what that meant. I just knew they were alive. And then I realized I couldn't breathe.
Oh my gosh.
So the whatever they gave me was like making it feel like my lungs weren't working. So I felt like I was choking. And I was like, I can't breathe. And I started panicking and sobbing. I was like, I can't breathe. I'm dying. Please help me. I can't breathe. And the doctor gave me the meds, was like, you're fine. You're fine. You can breathe. You're fine. You're breathing.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
crying. You're fine. Like, he was really insensitive about it. But then my doctor, my OBGYN, who's amazing, she was like, you are fine. I promise you, you are fine. And this is the perfect place to be if you do stop breathing.
Yeah.
But you are breathing. But if you do stop breathing, I'm right here. And we will make sure you're okay.
Was it like
she
anxiety?
was very sweet. No, it was like, I guess some people have
physical?
reaction to it was physical. The medication numbed me so high that I couldn't feel my lungs breathing. So I thought I couldn't breathe.
All I'm gonna say is the 3 recent times that Trisha and Colleen have met up. First one was a mukbang for Colleen's YouTube channel in which they talked about Colleen's birth journey. Number 2, a video on Colleen's channel where they talk about Colleen's birth journey. Number 3, a new podcast where they talk about Colleen's birth journey.
Right.
So, and I was so nervous that I got like dry mouth. And so like,
Colleen loves her birth story so much, it's changed so much since the last time she told it.
I felt like I had no saliva, so I couldn't swallow and I couldn't breathe. And I literally felt like my lungs were collapsing and I was dying. And so I was like, I'm dying.
See how Trisha doesn't even care this time because Trisha's heard this story 3 fucking times.
Please help me. Like, I kept telling them.
Trisha's face.
I can't breathe, help me. And they, and I was fine, but it just, that's the way the drugs made me feel. And then after, it took like a full 24 hours for those meds to kind of like really get out of my system. But Eric always says that I looked so insane because I was like itching my face and itching my body. And I was just like, I was so out of it for like the 24 hours. Did you feel crazy?
Trisha not giving a fuck? It's a great story, but my goodness, you only tell it. You told it every 3 fucking last times we've watched this.
See, after you were on the meds?
I was so out of it too, but it was definitely a different
God, I'll
reaction.
never forget Trisha going, as her response.
Have you ever done like recreational drug use?
Like, not like
hardcore,
really.
like
no, I haven't.
Maybe
I mean,
weed or something.
I've tried weed,
Yeah.
but like I never had good reactions.
Weed
to that
does nothing for me, and I think it's because like I always was like doing like not always, but like I would like Xanax. Those were my things. So whenever I do like weed and stuff like that, it never did anything for me. But I think when I was young, I used to do a lot of like cocaine. I don't know what I can say, but like a lot of cocaine and stuff like that. So I feel like it like numbed me from this. So when I did the C-section, to me, I felt very like reminiscent of the days when I used to do drugs, where I just felt very like euphoric. Like for me,
that sounds
I was out
wonderful.
of it though. I remember seeing my baby for the first time, and I know this is like controversial, but I remember seeing
Oh my God,
her, I
Jimin,
was, like,
thank you
so
for
confused,
subscribing.
being like, here, kiss your baby, and I was like, I don't know who's
Thank you so much for subscribing.
maybe that is like I was like
Yeah, how
it was just
bizarre.
out of it, you know. And it wasn't until the next day where I fully was like, oh my gosh, there's like a baby here. And even then, I was
Yeah, Colleen's questions are, let's talk about your body, Trisha. Let's talk about my birth story. Trisha's questions are, do you do drugs?
I don't know. But to me, it was more euphoric when I was getting the like C-section. I was
In
just like,
euphoria.
Hi, everything's like good, everything's fine. Like I was just like all happy. The anesthesiologist was talking to me.
Well, I loved my epidural with Flynn. Like
Oh.
I felt like that was wonderful, and I loved my whole experience with Flynn. I vaginal birth with him, and I like thought it was great.
Okay, I know for a fact we talked about this on the last podcast and the one before that where they did the 2 mukbangs, because I know that she's told this story about loving it with Flynn and then hating it with the twins, and then Trisha loved it. We've talked about this in 3 podcasts.
Great. But then the C-section one was not as fun. Like the drugs were way more intense than an epidural.
They have to, yeah, because
Like,
you're awake.
It was way more intense.
Yeah.
And I think also with Flynn, it was like I was having painful contractions already. So like I was like, just make the contractions
Yes.
stop hurting. So like the epidural then felt amazing. With the twins, I wasn't in any pain. I wasn't having contractions. It was nothing. It was my water broke and there was
Trisha, you better not act shocked at this story because you heard it 2 times before. Trisha.
dangerous, and we needed to get them out because
You-
Wesley's umbilical cord
there.
was coming out.
She
and
could
he
only
could've
act for so
died.
long.
And so like, there wasn't any pain to then get to meds to make me feel better. So
I could use an epidural right now, actually.
And then I got this medication that made me feel out of it and made my whole body numb. I couldn't feel anything, and it was just all.
I
weird.
wonder, that's what I was saying earlier, then I wonder if it's because, like, maybe your body was, like, in shock. You know, the first time people use, like, drugs, they're, like, you know, like, let's say you just, like...
I feel like I'm in purgatory, Andrew said.
right now start taking, like shot of heroin or something. Like, you probably would, like, go in shock and people die right away because they're, like, shocked by it.
Trisha keeping the conversation on its toes. Yeah, so I'm going to compare that to heroin and Colleen being like, yeah, but whenever I gave birth,
you know, so maybe it was like kind of that same.
I don't know.
Because fentanyl kills people, and fentanyl they give you for the C-section, like I
They
got
do?
it. Mm-hmm, yeah.
I know fentanyl is like a huge problem.
Yeah, people like die of overdoses of it, but
it's
like
really sad. Yeah.
they use it a lot in like, and so mine I had the fentanyl in it. And
Yeah, I don't even know what was in mine. I have no idea. Isn't that weird that our healthcare system is like just injecting us with stuff and we don't know what it is? Like, that's bananas.
Yeah, it is crazy. Because yours was an emergency. Mine wasn't an emergency. They kind of like got us prepared, but like you'd think they would still should tell you. I loved my whole experience. I haven't, you know, I didn't love my whole experience.
Well, your labor was long though.
My labor was long. Yeah, and I had really bad contractions too. I mean, I thought my pregnancy was going to be easy, or my labor and delivery would be easy because my pregnancy was. And I was like, it's going to be fine because my pregnancy was so easy. Everyone's so over dramatic. And then once I had the contractions, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Like, it was really bad. But
contractions are brutal.
But the C-section drugs, those can be like really crazy. But
yeah, some people have a wonderful C-section experience, and some people are like, yeah, schedule the next one, get it done. Like, and for me, it was not that experience. It's different for everyone. But I want to ask you one more question about mommy things, and we have some.
Colleen said she didn't want this to be a mommy thing. Girl, the two fucking topics you brought up, you've had to be like, sorry for bringing it to mommy. This is all we've got. This is all we got.
Things to discuss. We talk about a trillion things, but like
it's fine though. That's like what
this goes to show that that's her only personality.
I don't care if we talk about only our kids because we love our kids. So.
Yeah.
There we go. At least she's clarifying. So we're walking back on it now. Trisha went, we're not going to be doing a mommy podcast because fuck that. And Colleen goes, well, all I'm going to talk about is my kids.
Like,
especially pregnancy.
So horrible that we want to talk about the best thing that's ever happened to us in our life.
Compare this to Trisha 15 minutes ago saying that this isn't going to be a mommy podcast because she doesn't want to do a mommy one.
No, but I do have one more question because I think it's important to talk about. So you had a wonderful pregnancy, like glowing, happy, best you've ever felt in your life. And, you know, your birth went great. Malibu came out healthy and wonderful and everything is good. But you said something and kind of in passing that I think actually is important to talk about. And it's this. So like when I had Flynn, he came out, they put him on my chest, and it was the most euphoric, wonderful, bonding, beautiful moment.
Oh my God, if she brings up what I think she's going to bring up, she's super nasty. If she brings up what I think she's going to bring up, and if not, then great. If she brings up that she put Flynn on her chest and then had a C-section, but Trisha has only had a C-section, so she never got to hug her baby after it was brought out, then she is a nasty person because she brought that up on their last mukbang, and Trisha was so upset recalling the fact she never got to do that, and Colleen gloated about getting to do it with one of her kids, and then she had two with C-section, but Trisha's only had C-section, and Trisha saying how sad it makes her. If she's bringing this up, she is an actual evil person, because Trisha's already said that this is something that makes her so upset, and Colleen knows this, and if she's saying we brought this up in passing, no. This was a big point in the podcast that people were like, Colleen is super nasty for bringing this up. It's like you're looking at yourself in the hierarchy. If she brings it up, and if she doesn't, then fine. But if she does, it's a really, really, really nasty thing and goes to show that she really doesn't like Trisha because she's doing anything to put her down. From calling her fucking large at the start to this. But we'll see if she does or doesn't.
Like of my life, like this moment of like, this is my child who just came from my womb and I am this where I felt incredible. But I've heard from other moms that that's not everyone's experience, and that's what you're told as a mom is going to happen to you. And I'm very lucky and happy that did happen for me. But I've heard from other moms that doesn't, and you can't talk about it because then like, oh, you're a bad mom because you didn't have it. But you kind of said in passing just now, and I'm so curious. You're like, you know, they showed me my baby and I was so out of it. I was like, who is this? What is this baby? I don't know who's that person? And you're like, but people, people would be mad at me for saying that, whatever. But like, I actually think that's something that like more women should talk about because I do think it's a common experience for women to have a child.
So basically she brought up that whenever her baby was born, they put it on her chest and she was like, my baby, my baby. And then brings up that Trisha and other people say that they give birth and they're so high on drugs that they don't recognize it's their baby. So Colleen's like, yeah, but I got to experience this. So let's talk about the fact that when your baby came out, you didn't feel connected to it. Because whenever mine came out, I felt immediately connected to it. Girl.
Child and not have that like euphoric, this is my child, which is wonderful and I'm excited that I got to have it. But I think there are women out there and people out there who can have babies who like have a child and are like, who is this? What is this? And you can't talk about it because people will say you don't love.
This would be a nice conversation to have if she didn't reference that Trisha was literally the person she was talking about at the start, because now it forces Trisha to this face speaks it all, has to talk about something she says has made her feel uncomfortable.
Your child, you know, you're not bonding with
your bad mom.
But I think it's very natural to like have a child put on you or near you and go like, I don't know what this is. What am I supposed to do with this? And I feel like
I didn't know at all. Like I was
so Trisha, I was made to be a mommy and you weren't.
Well, how people knew to do things for their like I had no natural maternal instinct, and I thought
girl, that was such a mean comment. And again, if she had brought up, let's talk about the fact that there are mothers who this will happen to, and that's normal, that would have been nice. But the fact she went, you brought something up and then I cross-referenced and you don't feel a connection to your baby, bitch. Like really, really, really nasty person.
I would, because I wanted to be a mom so bad, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be such a good mom. I thought I had this like really natural, like I'm gonna know what my baby wants. People say that like right away, they know what they want, and it took me months. And I think that's why anytime, even people don't know me, if they say like she's a bad mom or Moses takes care of the baby, it does trigger me in a way. Not so much anymore, but it did trigger me because I thought, oh my god, maybe I am a bad mom, because I would be like, I don't know what to do as she's crying. I don't know how to take care of it. With the
Colleen went, I was lucky, but you weren't. So let's talk about that.
Section, I couldn't physically hold her or care for her for like
so
weeks.
Hard.
Yeah, so I was really, I mean, for months I was like, she'd cry and I didn't know, and Moses would know, and then I would feel like a bad mom because I don't know what my baby wants when she's crying. So, and then you have those initial.
I feel like we're seeing Colleen's real personality here, and I'm loving it, because if you put Colleen with her husband, she likes. On their podcast, she likes people thinking, anyone she is in a relationship with, they'll have the most amazing relationship, which is why, like, even, like, 2 weeks before her, divorce, she was, like, posting about how, oh, I'm never gonna get divorced, whatever. She doesn't like people thinking about her relationships. And she also doesn't feel threatened in that, obviously. However, when you put Colleen in a podcast by herself, she can talk, and talk the same way she does in a video. If you put her with her friend Corey, she doesn't feel threatened by him, so they'll have nice, funny conversations. If you put her with someone that she will feel so insecure around that she has to like one up, you will see her true personality of like dominant, bitchy, putting down other women, I'm better than you kind of attitude. And I think this is the first time that we're seeing, well, you guys, I've already seen it. I think this is the first time you're seeing her true personality of her at her core, not her trying to pretend to be anything. I think she's being 100% sincere here, and I think that's what's showing us these shady, snappy comments. I love it.
Maybe I'm not a good mom. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was going to be. And then you're like, okay, what did I do? I have to take care of her for her whole life, and I don't know how to do it, and I'm gonna screw her up and all this stuff like that. So it was scary. And like I said, it took really up until like the 6-month mark for me to feel like when she started smiling and showing signs of happiness, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing something okay, because I really thought, and she wasn't colicky, she didn't even cry that much. I just thought,
I've already seen it. Adam, are you trying to one up us? Yeah, and I also think you're big. I also think your baby didn't feel any connection to you.
I don't know. I didn't know the bonding, and I didn't know how to do it. And it wasn't, like I said, until like 6 months that I was just like, oh, this feels very natural. This is like, this person is like an extension of me. Which
did you expect like when you had her to like that feeling to happen though, of like, oh, this is my, and did you have that feeling of like, oh, this is my daughter, this is my, like, my, obviously you love her, like you've always loved.
Obviously you love her, like at the end of the day, she is your baby. I do think you're a bad mom, but like at the end of the day, you do love her. I love all of mine though.
Loved her and adored her, but like, did you have that feeling of like, oh, I was expecting this to?
She literally just said she didn't. This podcast is so good. It's showing people just like how nasty she is. Like really, really, really just bitchy person.
Feel different?
Yeah, I really thought I thought right away you just like how this like, it's like you said,
euphoric,
euphoric, and it wasn't like that right away. And it was, I think I have this thing, and Moses can tell you where it takes me a minute to adjust. Like when we first lived together, I've never lived with anyone before Moses, like with a guy, with a roommate, anything. And so when we first lived together, every morning I'd wake up and I'd be like a little like scared. I'd be like, oh my god, who's this person next to me? And that was when we were engaged. That was after like dating for a year. Even when we got married, I was like, oh my god, I got married. What did I do? Like I have that initial, I don't know what that is, and maybe psychologists could tell you, I don't know. But it was like that with the baby too. I was like, oh my gosh, I had this baby. Like leading up to it too, I was very much like, oh my gosh, like I was so excited. And then when she came, I was like, oh my god, I have this baby. Like, what did I do? And it's kind of that thing.
One of my friends just let me know, they texted me and they were like, look at Colleen's body language as well. Like Trisha's like open, comfortable, casual. Colleen is like ready to fight. And that's not Colleen wanting to batter the shit out of Trisha. That is literally just Colleen. Colleen is in like fight or flight when she is feeling threatened by someone. Like, that is her body language. I mean, look at their body language.
But
it's not a sense of like you don't love her, don't want her.
Not.
It's just,
oh my God, Colleen being like, it's not that I'm saying you hate your child. You know, you still love her, girl. You're the one that said she didn't love her child, but you love yours the mostest.
It's like you're anticipating a bond that wasn't there immediately.
It felt so different. It still felt like, oh my gosh, like what did I do? But no, I mean, but no matter what, through all that, I mean, it really was like this love where it's like this. The only thing like maternal I could think of is like I have to take care of this baby no matter what, and in the best way possible. Like I really was like, this is my purpose, this is why I'm here. Like so I would look at her and I'd feel love, of course, but it was never like,
it wasn't that what you thought, what you see, what people tell you it's going.
What you saw when you watched my Vlogmas, when you looked at your baby and you saw love, it wasn't like when you saw me love my baby in Vlogmas. So maybe we should talk about that. You're a bad mother who doesn't love her daughter. And you're also big. Like...
going to be like, and and I think that like, I feel like I've heard that story from a lot of women that was like, it took me a while to like connect and bond and be like, oh, it was just different than I thought it was going to be. And I feel like, Mom, it's probably hard for you to like admit all of that because it's scary.
Girl, you made her. It was probably hard for you to admit that. You're the one that brought it up and made her talk about it.
Put yourself out there and say that because like, well,
she had to put herself out because you asked her about it.
Are people gonna then who don't understand, like people with experiences like mine was like, what, like, because in my mind I'm like,
oh my God, people with experiences like me where our babies loved us from the get-go, when we loved our babies from the get-go, and then other people like you, oh my God, everything is a competition. But she's having it with herself. Trisha's not feeding into it. Trisha is not coming across bad in this whatsoever. Colleen is coming across as like a peak narcissist, and Trisha's just coming across as like, I hate to say it, like a nice person. Like Trisha's coming across quite nice in this, and she's answering everything and whatever. Colleen is literally putting her down so much. She goes, people with good experiences, like my baby loving me, and people with your experiences.
It was such a euphoric, wonderful experience that then it's like, it's God, so weird to think that...
It's so weird to think that you could have an experience where having your baby sucked ass.
People don't experience that.
Oh my God.
Because it wasn't...
Don't experience loving their baby, she's talking about. And she said that Trisha was one of those people, by the way, who don't love their baby.
My experience, but like, I think it's important people talk about it because there's no shame in that.
My God! When you're like, there's no shame in it, you're the one that brought it up as a shameful thing.
It's something that some people, it takes them longer to bond and connect and figure that out. It doesn't mean you don't love your child. It's just like I'm sure that's disappointing for some people to assume it's going to be this
I'm sure it's disappointing for you that your baby did not love you.
Magical moment, and then it is.
And I think it started with that because I'm like in therapy about it. I had to because I was just like, I was so beside myself. I was just like, I don't really understand this like feeling, and I don't want to like screw her up or any of this stuff like that. So I'm like, I need to like talk to someone about it. And I think it started from me wanting a vaginal birth so bad and getting that moment because I would watch so many vlogs and I would like cry like when they got to hold on the chest, and I like didn't get that moment. Everyone else is like so touching her and poking her. And
this was the topic that Trisha brought up to Colleen in their last mukbang where she got super upset about it. So this is the conversation that Colleen brought up to basically get Trisha to talk about something that really triggers her when it comes to mommy.
Like, you know, everyone's getting to hold her before me, and I just...
Colleen just smiling at her.
felt like I missed out on that. And so I think that's like the only thing I could think of. I mean, like I said,
that's super. I started.
No, you're good. Yeah,
I'm sorry to cut you off, and then continues.
That is like traumatizing. As someone who experienced both, like I had that vaginal birth, and then with the twins, I didn't get to hold them or touch them for days.
Yeah.
Or I got to hold Wesley the first day, but like kind of, he was covered in tubes and whatever. But they were whisked away immediately when they were taken out of me, and it was devastating to know that like I just grew this child in my body, and it came out of my body, and it wasn't immediately with me. It felt. It's devastating when that happens and you don't get to like have that experience you were hoping to have the whole time you're growing a human in your own body.
Oh,
that's like, and to have that taken from you and you don't get to have that this
is so mean. Why do I feel bad for Trishy Fishy? It's taken one evil to cancel out the other evil for me to feel bad for Trisha. This is just coming across super mean.
Sad.
It was So sad because
Okay, Trisha's openly telling you here that this is a topic that has traumatized her, made her so upset, and you're continuing it.
I loved every minute of the pregnancy, and then I was so sad. But with the twins, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, bring it back on her! Bring it back on her! Trisha goes, oh, and on that topic, you had a C-section too.
We see this all the time. I see it on TikTok too, leaving them in the NICU. Like
Awful.
I don't know. I don't know how people do that. I would.
This is like, they're like one-upping each other now. Colleen goes, well, you had your baby and your baby hated you and you hated your baby and you didn't get to put it on your chest. And then Trisha goes, when you had your twins and they went in the NICU, then what? They're like one-upping each other. Oh my God, they're trying to like traumatize the other one. They're trying to like, oh my God. Is anyone else seeing that that's what's happening here? Girl. What the hell? They're like fighting. Oh my God. Jesus.
You only can do it because you literally have no choice.
Yeah.
Like it was the worst thing it was honestly the hardest thing I've ever experienced, especially when Wesley came home.
Oh my God,
and Maisie
sorry,
was
that
still
was
there, because then I had to split my time between my 3-year-old son who was confused why mommy was gone all the time. When you have a newborn.
Now Trisha's smiling. My God, this is like, oh my God, this is crazy.
You take it home and you're like 24/7. I'm with this newborn, taking care of this newborn, and now I have a brand new newborn, tiny little 5-pound thing at my house that my body and my brain and heart are telling me you have to take care of this 24/7. Never let it leave your side. Like, you are here to nurture this child, but actually you have to leave it half the day because you have another one at a hospital, 15 minutes away that you have to do the same. So it's like your heart was just 100% of the time ripped in half. Like it.
Trisha, yeah. Like, this is like the nasty Olympics of them just bullying each other.
It was the worst. I hated every second. And the only way to get through it is you literally don't have a choice. Like, what's the alternative? Like, you have to do it, but it's gut wrenching.
I couldn't watch at that time when that was happening for you, because I was like literally like, I wasn't even pregnant at the time, nothing. I was just like, oh my God, that's like literally the most tragic thing to do, to like leave and then also separate.
Trisha goes, yeah, that was the most tragic thing to happen to someone. Let's talk about it. They're just trying to one-up each other.
Them, separate the twins, and it was no bueno, no fun. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I was like, I feel like it's an important thing that more people should talk about, like their experiences.
Them after just bickering back and forth. So yeah, let's move on. The
baby comes like, because every experience is different. And, for me,
maybe this friendship will last, actually, because friendships like this can last, where like you will always want to one-up each other, so you'll always be living to one-up the other one. I'm actually loving this podcast.
It was shocking when I got pregnant, and I hated it because I'd always seen like, oh, beautiful pregnancy, cute pregnancy photos.
Right.
And I thought it would be lovely, and it wasn't, and that was shocking to me. And so now I'm like, more people should talk about all aspects of it. And so that's an aspect I've never heard someone talk about publicly like that some women don't experience that like euphoric like bonding moment.
Oh my God! Colleen has to end it, of course, and she's like, yeah, so just rounding off, I just wanted to bring up that some people, like you, never have that happy moment after they've, had, 9 months of, hell. They never have it, the baby never likes them, they never like the baby, people don't have that euphoric moment. Like you, like I had, you know what I mean? She, like, has to end it.
The baby comes out and you expect to. And
yeah, because people are like, well, if you don't feel that, then you're not a good mom. Because I mean, I've had those like in my own head, in my real life, people I know are like, that's weird. Like they would think, is it? Like I'm like, and then I don't know. But then it took me to obviously go to an actual therapist that specializes in that kind of stuff, and they're like, it's actually.
So again, this is Trisha saying that this is stuff she goes to therapy over. So that's why it's even shadier for Colleen to bring this up.
Normal thing to feel, and like it's okay, because I was just like, love her, but
yeah, how bizarre. And by the way,
how bizarre that you don't love your baby.
Also said at the beginning of the conversation that you were like,
oh my God, she will not let the conversation go. Whoa, no, you don't want to talk about this, seriously.
I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like, am I doing the right thing? She's crying, I don't know why. I think every mom goes through that.
Oh my God, she's quoting Trisha. She goes, oh, also during that moment you said that you didn't know what to do when the baby cried, so let's talk about that.
Very common. Like, even people who feel like, oh, I'm so bonded with my child, we are one, like they don't know what they're doing either. No one knows what they're doing, and we're all just trying our best to like get through this like crazy experience of having a human being. But I was talking recently in a vlog of mine about how I was feeling like mom guilt or whatever, and feeling like a bad mom sometimes, because that's what happens when you're a mom. And this comment, I've seen this comment a couple times, and it always helps me. It's like, if you are having the
Colleen said at the start of the last topic, we're only going to do this one more mom topic. Girl.
thought genuinely like, oh my God, am I being a bad mom? And am I a bad mom? I'm having such mom guilt. Am I a bad mom? Then you're not, because a bad mom would not have that thought. A bad mom would not be like, oh no, do I need to adjust my behavior? Like, am I doing a good job? Am I a bad mom? Am I helping her? Am I hurting her? Like, you wouldn't have those thoughts if you were a bad mom. You care and you love her and you want what's best for her. So you were, going to therapy to make sure you're doing what's right, and doing everything you can to like be there for her and be a good mom. But anyway, oh my God, this isn't...
Hi, Adam. Do you travel to LA often? I normally go once a year. I'm going again in July. So I go like once a year. Normally summertime.
Podcast about like how mommy podcast.
Oh my God, here they are again being like, oh, we're doing a mommy podcast. Girl.
But I just wanted to say all that. But anyway, we have 1,000 other things we want to talk about.
Oversharing.
Do we?
And because of that, I was to ask you, the question I ask everyone, especially when you've been on for so long and we talk about being canceled and stuff like that, do you regret anything that you put out online? Or is there anything?
You know what I'm going to give Trisha props for? Going into this and saying, I don't want to do a mommy podcast, and actually not changing her opinion of that once Colleen says that she only wants to talk about mommy podcasts. Fair fucking play to Trisha at least giving us a different topic here. Holy shit.
Anything like, I wish I would have done that online.
Wait, she slid in and being canceled and everything. Wait, what? I didn't hear that.
Am I a bad mom? Am I helping her? Am I hurting her? Like, doing everything you can to like be there for her and be a good mom. But anyway, oh my God, this isn't a podcast about like how mommy podcast. But I just wanted to say all that. But anyway, we have 1,000 other things we want to talk about.
Oversharing, and because of that, I was to ask you, the question I ask everyone, especially when you've been on for so long and we talk about being canceled and stuff like that, do you regret?
Okay, you're right. Yeah, she did. Trisha's coming back for hits too. So let's talk about being on the internet and being canceled and all that, Colleen. And being canceled and all that.
Anything that you put out online, or is there anything like, I wish I would have done that online?
Yes and no. It's like it's like both, because it's, yes, I regret bad choices I've made, like anyone would regret, like, oh, and you get embarrassed and cringed out by like things that
What are those decisions
you've done in your past, and you're like, ugh, I wish I hadn't, why was I so stupid to say something like that or think something like that? But I learned from my bad and cringy things that I've done, and I feel like I've become a better person because I want to take criticism and try to learn and grow. And I feel like I'm a better person because of the internet in a lot of ways. Like, there's a lot of things I've learned from and grown from that like I never would have known otherwise. So it's like, I do sometimes feel like, oh, I regret this or that. But then at the same time,
girl, she's gonna say that she doesn't regret anything on the internet. And if you want to know why she got asked this, is because Trisha gets called out, because there's a clip of her where someone was like, do you regret anything on the internet? And she was like, yeah, of course, but like, no, because it's where I'm at right now. And Trisha got so much hate for it. So she's trying to set a trap for Colleen to say the same thing. So then people that don't like Colleen can be like, oh, here's you saying you don't regret anything on the internet. Trisha's putting her into a trap here that also they do to Shane Dawson, where they're like, do you regret anything? And he goes, well, yeah, but like, I got here because of doing all that. And then people use it against him by being like, oh, so you actually don't care that you did this or this. Trisha set her a trap there.
I don't, because then I wouldn't have learned any.
Trisha put her in the chat, or put her through the thing that people put, like Shane and Jeffrey and all three.
I wouldn't have grown. That's kind of how I feel. So it's like, I regret.
Colleen, I don't regret anything, but every time I see a Meghan Trainor picture, I shiver. Oh, God.
And feel bad about, like, if I ever say or do things that hurt people. Like, that's never my intention. I don't want to do that ever. So, like, I want to say yes, but at the same time, like, I'm so grateful for people educating me to be.
Colleen Ballinger doesn't care that she was racist and fatphobic on the internet. Heard it there. Or that she grims kids. Well, no, you don't talk about that.
Be better.
Yeah, like you have to learn.
And, I feel like being on the internet forces you to be in front of an audience of a large group of diverse people who all are trying to help you to become, a lot of them are trying to help you. Some of them are just trying to, like, not.
Girl, send me my check for the work I did for you. Don't talk about people using people.
not do it nicely, but like a lot of people are genuinely trying to be helpful and like help you to learn and grow. And so like it's a yes and no answer. You know, do you have things that you regret?
Well, I'm the same way. I go back and forth with it because
Hey,
on one hand,
Colleen, we're not done that topic. You didn't finish your topic when you were talking about what you regret or don't regret. Don't put it back on Trisha. We already know Trisha regrets everything.
I've said like way worse things because I always like there was times where I just did said stuff for shock value just to get that negative attention or any attention or whatever. But then I'm kind of the same way. Like I don't think I would have discovered like having a mental illness. Like I never thought of myself as like mentally ill. Like I know it's like a shock to people until literally like 2019 when I like actually went up to a mental hospital and they're like, oh, you might have like a mental illness. I'm like, that's crazy. Like I don't have a mental illness, whatever. Like I'm in control of my thoughts. I'm trolling. I'm whatever. And then I was like, well, I don't think I would have gotten there had I not made the choices I made or like screwed up so many times for someone to like kind of like and how I originally found out was like it wasn't Dr. Drew, it was like another doctor that was like on YouTube and I was just like maybe I should like get this looked at, maybe whatever, because he analyzed my videos. He was analyzing like things that I did and I was like, well, that makes sense. So then it got me to go to an actual therapist and I was just like, well, one in real life anyways, he was an actual therapist and I was like, oh, like, you know, and I discovered that I had a mental illness and it kind of like made sense. And of course everyone's like, it's not an explanation or not excuse. And I was like, yeah, but it kind of like explains why I was like that.
It's not an excuse, but you can help, like it can be helpful for your own mind to be like, especially when you feel guilty and bad about things that you've done, to be like, not justify it. There's no justification for like bad behavior that was bad.
What kind of bad behavior that was bad? What's there no justification for?
Like there's no justification, but sometimes it's helpful to have an explanation as to like how or why you got to.
Colleen being like, you have to make a justification for it. I use kids to my advantage. The justification being, I don't have to pay workers. Like, what? What do you mean?
Those decisions, you know what I'm saying? But like, there's certainly no justification. And I agree that like, you can't use mental illness as an excuse for like bad behavior, but like, it can help to explain. It can help you come to terms with like, things that you know you've been through and experienced and what other people have done
also to fix it, because I just thought this is how I am. Like I would tell everybody, I'm like, I'm crazy, like I'm the crazy girl, whatever, like be prepared to be exposed. Like I just thought that's how I was, and so that's it, you know. So when I realized my mental illness, which is like borderline personality disorder, and I was like, so many people have it, and like it's so specific to everything I did, and like there's ways to like manage it. I was like, oh, well, this is gonna make me like a better person because I can at least manage it, as opposed to like I was like, this is just how I am, I might as well monetize it, you just have to deal with it, people have to learn to like be around it. And now it's like, for me, it was like
an episode?
Yeah, like an episode, right. So I have episodes, and I just thought like that's just how it is. But now it's like, oh, there's like ways to manage it and like cope with it, even in relationships. So it wasn't even just about being online and like being canceled. Like relationships, like with Moses, like I pushed him away so much, and it was really bad. I pushed away so many people in my life, and lost so many opportunities. And then I realized like, oh, how can I manage this? So like learning about triggers, learning how to like breathe. Like now I do like meditation. I know it's like spiritual, but also in like psychology they call it like wise mind, and it's like just to breathe and like learn like techniques to like control when I want to like expose someone or have an episode or outburst or whatever like that. I can control myself now. It's really like emotional. My mental illness was like an emotional, what do they call it, personality disorder, I guess. And so I didn't think I could control my emotions. And now like learning to do that is like such a powerful thing. And the only reason I knew about him.
Can we just talk about the difference, by the way, in both of their responses? Like the difference in both of their responses was, like, this podcast is so uneven because we literally have Trisha opening up about everything and I'm appreciating everything she's saying. And then we have Colleen. Oh my god, my friend keeps texting me. Let me see. My friend said, look at Colleen's body language. Colleen leaning away from Trisha and body is closed. Legs crossed, arms across body. Yeah, because she fucking hates her. But anyway, I think it's so funny to just think about the comparison. So Trisha's opening up about things she regrets, and then if she doesn't regret them, here's why. Colleen goes, you know, I've done things I regret, but actually I don't regret them. But what about you? It's almost like she's trying to get Trisha in trouble. I don't know.
Mental illness and knew I needed to get help was because of this like outlandish behavior I did online. I know the difference between trolling, and I know the times when I was actually like, you know, losing my mind and stuff like that. So I was grateful for that. I'm grateful to show the journey that like I'm a mentally ill person with severe mental illness, but can like have a family and have a relationship, and like because I just never thought that was possible. And to also have like friendships and career. I know we talked about
that's true. Colleen's entire body just closed.
I said, you said it jokingly, but it's kind of like, oh, like, what if it ends bad or something like that? And I was like, yeah, because that's obviously like my track record. Whenever something ends bad, I just want to like, you know, expose that person, and like it hurts. Like it hurts. Like
Colleen just terrified right now. Colleen terrified of Trisha talking about when things go wrong, they want to expose her. Just terrified. Sheer terror across this face right now.
My relationships, my work relationships, all that
Just
stuff.
terrified.
So for me, even doing this podcast, and no matter how long it lasts or our friendship, you know, is like just showing that I can have stability in this. Because I think I proved it with like my marriage and a child. Like I can like have it in my personal
Colleen's
life.
terrified.
Life too, because I think a big thing where people don't take me seriously, including this podcast and other podcasts, is like, you know, oh, is she gonna go off the rails? Is she gonna be, you know? And I get that. It's like a fear, and so that's why I'm like now professionally, I'm really trying to show that you can have mental illness and also like work and not have people be scared of you.
Yeah, and I hope I wasn't.
She also said this at the start of Frenemies, so good luck, Colleen.
I never was trying to say anything negative about. I was trying to.
Ooh, oof, oof. Colleen's scared. Colleen's scared. Wait, Colleen's scared. Oh my God, Colleen's scared. She's taking it all back. She's acknowledging, she knows that all she did was put Trisha down, so now she's saying that, oh, I didn't mean it in a bad way at all. I didn't feel it in a bad way at all. Oh, I told you, she's terrified of Trisha. Now she knows that she's been a little bit too confident, and she now has to backtrack. Ooh.
To let you know that, like, I don't want that for this and for us. Like, I just, like, I love you, and I just want to have fun with you.
But
and
it's
like,
a legit fear when it comes to me.
Colleen knows she fucked up there. She realized she fucked up. Oh my God.
And it's like dating someone. Everyone's like, Moses.
Oh my God, look at her playing with her hands. Now, I will be honest, in my Steve-O one, they were talking about Shane playing with hands and being like, oh, that shows you're nervous or whatever, so take it with a pinch of salt. But like, look, this is the only time that Colleen's body has actually started moving this entire time.
It's a legit fear, and it's like, you know, time, and I feel like I told you how bad this is gonna go. I know how they talk about each other. Oh my God. Like Joey, I love Joey. We both love Joey. Like, you know, there's friendships that like I don't lash out on people. So again, going back to like, what do I regret? It's like I don't regret that stuff because I just want to show that like it's possible to change. You don't have to be toxic your whole life. You can have like a healthy relationships with all of that. Because like in my mental illness, there's no medication for it, and that's like the like scariest part to me is like you can't just take something and like work on it. You know,
I think. I want to go back to that because I have a lot of questions about that. But yeah, now that we're talking about it so much and thinking about it, I think I would say I do regret the mistakes I've made, especially since they were so public.
Oh my God! I told you! Colleen is backtracking. Colleen's terrified. Colleen's now going back and adding to the fact that she wasn't answering questions and Trisha was! Oh my God, I can read these people so well! Oh my God! She's literally, out of context, was just like, actually, you know what? I do agree with you on that point. Oh my God! Oh, this is so good. This is so good.
And because,
oh my God.
You know, I don't like that.
Now she regrets those things because Trisha said it, and Trisha made a shady comment that, you know, she turns on people if, you know, they're mean to her. Of course.
I've hurt people, and I think it's this. I regret it in the sense that, like, people, you know, I've hurt people in the past with like ignorant comments or your actions.
Girl, why didn't you say this in the moment? Girl, you were asked about this 20 minutes ago and you said you don't regret it. You said you don't regret it. 20 minutes ago, you said that it got you to where you are so you don't regret anything. So don't pull this shit. You're only saying this to copy Trisha's answer. Oh my God, not Trisha Paytas freaking the shit out of Colleen. Oh my God, she's terrified. She's terrified.
Mine when I didn't know better, which is not an excuse. Just how
why would you say this now?
I do regret that because I hate that I hurt people, but I don't.
Girl.
But I'm grateful for the moment.
Oh, so she's making sure to add on to her original point. Gosh, I think Trisha's stressing her.
Like, I regret making bad choices and doing dumb things.
But you said you didn't because they got you to where you are now.
Whatever in my past, like we're human beings, and that's human beings do that. I'm not saying that everyone does it and whatever. I'm just saying like,
oh, she's
it is,
stressed.
You know, part of my life to like make mistakes sometimes, and I regret making those mistakes.
You said you didn't, babe.
I'm grateful that I got the opportunity to learn and grow. Like,
so why are you bringing it up randomly? Why are you bringing it up
what
randomly?
you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for, like, you know, that I could learn and grow from mistakes. And I just wish that, like, you know, some people I feel like learn things not publicly.
Right.
And I wish
Right, yeah.
like, just because I never want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing is, like, I hate that, you know, people can get hurt by, like, mistakes and what that.
People get hurt by mistakes or hurt by you. Girl, you have hurt a lot of people, me and my friends included. Girl, you are a crazy, awful person. You can't hurt that many people and then say that you don't. You don't care about it. You're an awful piece of shit. Like, you can't act like that. You know what I mean? Like, how is she gonna be like, oh, everything happens for a reason, like, I don't care about, you know, whatever has happened, you know, by my mistakes. Girl, it wasn't a mistake when you spent years grooming kids, myself included, to fit your narrative of bullying your ex-husband, of harassing your ex-husband's new fiance, of literal, like, so what, a mistake would have been as well talking shit with your fans with me in DMs where we, myself included, were being, well, by the way, I was like 13 to 16, where we would literally make fun of your fans, whether it was, and again, I was literally a bully during this time. Like, I know I was like fucking 13 to 14, 15, whatever, but this is what we would do. We would just bully people in her fandom. We would send pictures back and forth of her fans that she would meet in meet and greets, making fun of them. Was that a mistake? Then those fans found out about it, and it was like, what else is there? Jesus Christ. From your mistakes being that people were speaking up about the fact that they thought that you were doing money fraud whenever it comes to raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for childhood cancer, and then whenever it was shown that money goes into your account before you then donate it, and you're not being honest about donation dates and stuff. Whenever you were asked about it, you just said that people were haters, and then people are upset about that. How are you saying that that is just a mistake as well? I don't understand any of this. I don't understand it. I also don't understand just like spending years making fun of other women in this space to then be fake to their face and acting like they're best friends. Like, this person is a very, very, very dangerous person, and I will not stop talking about it because, like, people do not know. Was it a mistake when you were, you know, forcing eating disorders on children by like complimenting their bodies and stuff like that on Snapchat? You know, was it a mistake whenever you did your apology video to me and you tried to like deflect and bring up my mother's parenting instead of focusing on your own shitty parenting? Is it a mistake that people, you know, will call you out for saying that only, you know, pedos watch family channels and then doing it the second you get your own kids? Like, was that a mistake? Was all of the content of you making fun of overweight people, you know, was that a mistake? The racist content, was that a mistake? Was the pedophile undertones of your Miranda character that you still do to this day a mistake? Was bringing children on stage during your Miranda Sings live show and having them literally put their hands down your trousers a mistake? You know what I mean? Was gloating about the fact that you got your family dog killed because you lied about it a mistake? Like, I don't understand. Was trying to like sabotage your ex-husband's life because you were actually the problem a mistake? Like, Rebecca Zamola, do we want to talk about whatever her name was? What was her name? Rebecca, whatever. She used to be friends with as well, talking shit about her. Was it a mistake whenever you got your fans to bully Jenna Marbles, myself included, because Jenna Marbles fans were saying that you were stealing her ideas when you were? Was that a mistake? Like, was it a mistake to ask, you know, a 13, 14, 15-year-old Adam what his favorite sexual position is if he's, you know, a virgin whenever he's asking for questions for his YouTube Q&A whenever he's that young? Is talking about sex with Eric in the Weenies group chat that I was a part of a mistake? You know what I mean? Was describing your ex-husband's penis in a group chat that had a lot of minors in it a mistake? Child labor, you know, just stealing ideas from children, was that a mistake? Oh my god. I would drop this mic, but it's really, really, really expensive and really heavy, so don't play that game. And finally, like, whenever I was going through my camera roll the last day, I found all of these, like, these competitions she used to do called, like, it was like Colleen, like, Purple Heart, you know, something, and she was gonna fly people out to LA, you know, and LA to go to VidCon, and all they had to do was win an award, and then she let the two winners win it, and then she made fun of them because they weren't grateful for the award. And then she told me that she was going to fly me out, and then she was going to have to fly someone else out because they had cancer, and obviously, you know, that would look best. Like, these are... Don't do it. Like, I was just going through my camera roll, and obviously because I was just a very young person talking to someone I idolize, I, you know, documented a lot of stuff, and I find a lot of, you know, old Snapchats, you know? I find a lot of old Snapchats. So, like... Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
That's the worst. I mean, same way. I hurt so many people, and like I get that, and I'm like, it's like, you know.
And again, the only reason I'm bringing that up is because yet again we have her doing this narrative that she hasn't done anything wrong, and you know, she literally just said that she's not. She doesn't care about anything she's done on the internet, like because it got her to where it is. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I feel like I apologize a lot. Hurting people just sucks in general. Again, for me, it's just like a more like forgiving, trying to forgive myself to move on because like I have to live my life and like move forward. But it does suck, and I feel like now like Gen Z and just like the whole new social media, it's this whole new like. It's just so different. Back when we first started, everyone was just trying to be like offensive and mean and like whatever. I feel like now people are so much more considerate of people and open.
As it should be. Like, yeah, people
which is good. That's like what I'm saying. The evolving of the influencer. You know, influencers back in the day would be like so like whatever to each other, and I feel like now people are very open, and I love that. Like,
trying to be more inclusive and trying to be more conscious of like what you're saying and that it can affect people in a negative way, and like. Yes, I'm grateful to learn things. I feel bad anytime I hurt people, and I know you well enough to know that you do too. Like, you don't want to hurt anybody.
Of course. I mean, that's the worst.
And and I don't want you to think that I was like, well, I don't want to do podcasts with you because what if you explode at me?
No. And again, you said it so, and it wasn't even like meant to be mean, but I understood
just
it.
Like, hey, if you ever don't want to do this, or if you're ever upset with me, just talk to me. Like, we can work it out. Like, I would never.
Girl,
want to, like...
Trisha stressed her the fuck out that she was gonna expose her. Holy shit. Colleen's like, please, if you ever want to expose me, just text me first.
Trigger you for anything. Like, I'm not even realizing you're recognizing that we're even filming right now. It's like,
Girl, I don't even know that we're recording right now.
You know, I always want you to just like talk to me if you ever had an issue with me, or if I ever had an issue with you.
Wow, she's terrified.
I don't think we ever would.
No, and I feel
see how Colleen has now tried to open up her body language to hold Trisha's hand there, but Trisha didn't. Trisha didn't.
It's because like I'm saying, it goes back to the Moses, like watch out for Trisha. She does this, and like doing this podcast, watch out for Trisha. But I feel like that's so not me anymore. Like I haven't been that person for so long. So I think it's just for me. I just want to like keep proving that like I'm working on myself constantly and.
I don't know anything about your...
I feel like this should be something in a pre-contract, not literally just said on the podcast. Yeah, that's a good point.
Disorder, other than that you have it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like I mean, that's like a whole other thing. There's like it's a personality disorder. It's actually one that like I didn't even know existed because I was given medication before for like bipolar. I've been given medication for so many mental illnesses. Like I don't have mental illness. I'm just trolling. I mean, you know, I'm smarter than whatever. And I really thought I just had like a bad temper. Like I really was just like, I just have a bad temper and like people have to deal with it. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like don't piss me off, basically, is how I always thought. Like but yeah, it wasn't like a temper thing. It was like an actual personality disorder. And there's so many levels to it. There's so many levels with like heightened emotions and like, you know, you feel so much. Kind of what you're talking about rejection. We were talking about this
rejection sensitive dysphoria.
Yeah, which I never heard of, but I think I have this. And I'm not trying to diagnose myself.
No, just look it up. I know about it one because my therapist told me that I have that because I have ADHD and so I went to I have this wonderful therapist who I was explaining to her my feelings and how I get in basically every situation. I think everyone hates me and everyone's upset with me and like I'm always doing everything wrong and you know anything can trigger it, like a text message that has like a period at the end. I'm like, oh my god, they're so mad at me. Like I get freak out over like the smallest things like that, and I just spiral and I just think everyone's always upset with me and no one likes me and blah blah blah. And she was like, have you ever heard of rejection sensitive dysphoria? Have any of your past therapists ever talked to you about you and that? And I was like, no. And she was like, really? Like she was like shocked no one had told me about it before. But yeah, I mean you should definitely like look into it. It's very interesting and I've always thought that it, you know.
Someone wrote, Colleen, you asked her the question.
Just by our interactions, how we talk to each other, we're very similar.
Very scared of someone just being like,
yeah, we're very scared of like someone
not wanting to do something,
hating me all of a sudden. Yeah, and I feel like all of our text messages to each other are like, oh my god, this would be so fun, but don't worry, you don't have to do it. It's okay. I won't be mad if you never want to talk to me again.
That's all
like
of ours.
That's literally everything we text to each other is like, yeah, oh my god, this is gonna be so fun, but seriously, no worries.
I love that she's still talking about the fact that, like, if, you know, Trisha has a problem with her, please tell her. That's literally what all of this is. Girl, how scared did she make her? Shaking.
If you don't want to do it, it's totally fine. I bought the set and I set it all up, but I don't care. Like, you don't have to come over. Like, you don't even have to do it. It's totally fine.
I think that's why it took us so long to do it, because it was kind of like, let's just do it. But I'm like, okay, but do you want to do it? Or like, I'm happy to do it, but like, do you want to do it? And I don't ever want
you to do it if you don't want to do it. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally cool. I'm not going to be offended. Like, it's totally fine. Like,
it's so crazy. I never heard of that, and that's how I feel too. It's like, or like you said, if the text goes unanswered or something like that, I'm terrified. He'll tell you voice memos. Now I started listening to our voice memos, but at the beginning I could not listen. Like back in December, she left me a voice memo. Listen, like I cannot listen to voice memos, but now I do. When we were talking, I can, but I
only do it because sometimes I'm with the kids and it's like crazy. So
now it's fine, but in December I would be scared
you to listen.
I don't listen to any voice memos.
Oh my gosh, I'll never send you one again.
No, I love it now. When we were going back and forth that one day, it's great because I like love it. But there was a moment where
because when you send voice memos, it means you don't have to put anything down in text. Maybe she is learning. Hey, that's why you'd send a lot of pictures on Snapchat, right?
I can't listen to this. But once we started going back and forth, it was. But I get just anxiety in general. If people don't like respond to text, I get so scared to text too much. That's why I wanted to send you a picture of the set, and I was like, you know what? Let me just put it on Instagram story. Maybe she'll see it. And I was like, okay, it's set up.
See it on your story.
I didn't want to send it. And then I was like, I want to send it in case she doesn't want to do it, and I'm being too over the top. Like, okay, girls, calm down. We're just gonna like film a video. It's not that big of a deal.
Well, no, the only reason I thought maybe, you know, I am not a therapist. I am not a doctor. I know nothing in the whole world. I'm an idiot. But
girl, you just brought up her diagnosis.
What I experience in my personal journey, and I know that I have pretty bad rejection sensitive dysphoria, which is like, I mean, and it's not like, oh, I think everyone hates me. It's like you literally can spiral into like depression, have anxiety attacks, and obsess, like obsessively think for hours about things, like and overanalyze things that should not be over. Like can be debilitating sometimes. It's not just like, oh my god, I think they hate me. Anyway, what's for lunch. It's like it really does, like it can affect you pretty terribly. And the only reason I thought is because when we were talking earlier, you were like, I didn't know if you wanted to do it because I looked on your Instagram yesterday and I was searching and you like hadn't posted anything. I was like, oh no, does she not want to do it? Because she's not posting. It's Mother's Day.
Oh my god, spill some tea with me. Just posted a screen recording of my live as like a news update. Oh my god! How quick are those bastard tea pages? Whoa! How did they get that so fast? How did y'all get that so fast? Whoa! That shocked me. Wow. Quick as hell.
Because I was just a very young person talking to someone I
Wow. That's very impressive. That was very quick. Damn it, I wanted to post it first.
Say, why would she not post this? She's not gonna come. Like, and then I checked Corey's and he didn't post anything. I was like, oh no one's posting. They're not coming tomorrow. Why? I guess we're not doing it. That's okay. And I was
they gagged me a bit.
Like
I love spill some tea with me.
It took me yesterday. I was like, wow. I
was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like this. But I'm not diagnosing you. I don't know anything. I'm just telling you it's an experience I have.
It has nothing to do with you. I just don't know. It's like a fear.
Girl, she went, I'm not diagnosing you again after literally just doing that.
Like this fear all the time that like it's too much. Yeah, it's a rejection, which is weird, and I don't know where it stems from because
So, Colleen, if you knew that she had rejection disorder, why would you bring up the fact that her baby and her rejected each other when they were first born? Why would you bring that up then if you know that she has rejection, trauma? Because you were trying to be catty.
I don't think I've ever been like rejected. Like I didn't date in high school. I didn't have friends in high school. So
Colleen's gonna remind her about her baby. Yeah, but your baby rejected you.
Like rejected in any way, but I'm scared of rejection, I guess. And I never ask people to hang out, like ever. Like, so it's very hard for me to like initiate like a plan or like set a thing.
That's a big symptom of it, is like you will actively avoid like hanging out with people or going out or doing anything just to avoid the rejection. So like you'll avoid hanging out or making friends or doing things because you're just like,
no, she won't bring it up.
At the possibility of being rejected, it's like,
oh my God, hi, Chloe.
But honestly, having Malibu has like helped that weirdly, because I used to be so scared to go out socially or events, but I've been like to more events and parties with her than like, and I like made friends and stuff with people because of like, okay, I gotta be social for her, and now it's like helped me get out of my social anxiety and my rejection. And I'm like, you know what, I invite people over for a play date. If they want to come, they come. Or if they don't, they don't. And I don't really care either way. I'm just like, just for Malibu, and it's been so nice because I'm like, it's kind of frees me that way. Professionally, I still get like intimidated just in general, just with anybody. I just get like, oh, I'm not good. Like maybe
She goes, I get, insecure with everyone, but a bunch of people.
Just gets in my head, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like being a mom changes you in so many ways. Like, I'm very non-confrontational. The only times I've ever been confrontational is if it has to do with my children.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and the same thing, like, I'm like signing them for classes, and obviously you have like to do 1 million doctor's appointments and things for your children, and I'm like on it, like, we got to set these things up. Whereas like for me, I'm like, I don't need to go to a doctor. Like, which I do. I'm not recommending this, but I haven't been to the dentist in years. Like, I'm like,
Same.
It's bad.
When's the last time you were at the dentist?
Literally when I was pregnant with Flynn,
I
chipped a tooth because it's one of the many fun things I got to experience was my teeth falling out. And so I chipped a tooth pretty bad, and I had to go in to get it fixed. And they were like, when was the last time you were at the dentist? And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, you need to come back in 6 months.
What happened?
They had to put in a filling, like, and I couldn't take meds or anything because I was
Colleen, non-confrontational.
Pregnant.
So they literally, and I couldn't lay down because when I laid down, I would faint. So I had to sit up straight, and they had to fill like where the chip was in a molar. Like they had to make a new part of my tooth for me, just like chilling, pregnant, no drugs, nothing, like just like
no numbing.
It's horrible. But I was like, no, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's fine. I'm pregnant. I'm miserable. You can't make me any worse. Like, it's fine.
Dentist is that should be one of our vlogs. We should.
Oh my God.
I'm scared.
No offense to dentists, the dentist community. I appreciate you for helping people's teeth, but like literally, I hate the dentist so much. It scares me so bad. Like,
no.
Her being like, oh, no shade to dentists, because I'm pretty sure, didn't she say about like one of the nurses or something that she wanted to like strangle them or something because they took her baby away from her or something to go like help it or something like that? Wasn't that a topic I saw online?
Who likes the dentist?
And she got so much backlash.
Take needles and like poke holes into your
teeth. Yeah,
like,
she did. Okay.
For cavities, but like. Do you get cavities?
Oh, I have so many. They said I used to back in the day.
Oh, it was.
They used to be gray. So like
your teeth. Oh, I see.
Okay, it was. So basically, she said she wanted to. It was either like wrap her arms around, or like strangle or something. One of the nurses because they took her baby away to make sure it was safe and it was taken away from her or something like that. Yeah, she used to talk shit about her nurses like so much on YouTube.
Oh, the fillings would be great. Yes, I remember that.
And everyone's like, "Oh, your teeth are rotting," because like back in the day they didn't have white caps, so I have all my teeth have fillings because I think they just like try to charge me when I was like 6 years old. They just try to give like a lot.
She
of
wanted to strangle one of the nurses.
All the time, and I have bad teeth. We went to the dentist.
You know
regularly.
what I heard? I don't know if this is true. Again, I'm not a scientist, but like I heard once that like cavities. Like, sure, your teeth can rot if you're not taking care of your teeth, but, like, cavities are genetic. So it's, like, the more, like, it can get, like, so if, it doesn't matter how much you take care of your teeth. If it's, like, your parents have, like, lots of cavities and genetically get, I don't know if this is true, by the way. So, like, please come for me if it's not true. But, like, I guess it's, like, a genetic thing that, like, it can be passed down.
I don't know about all that.
But I don't know if that's true. But, like,
what an interesting topic.
A little bit better because I was, like, I don't know.
Do you have them? Do you have cavities?
I get cavities. Oh, yeah. I don't get like 1 million, but like every time I've ever been to the dentist.
She goes, I don't have like 1 million the way you do. You know the way you have so many because your teeth are nasty? I only have like 1 or 2.
Like you have
always just has to like one up.
Cavity. You have 2 cavities. Like I always have to get them filled. But
yeah,
like,
my whole mouth is filled, so I don't know. But I know there's like I can when I eat hot and cold things, it's sensitive. When there's water that goes down, I'm like.
Did you get wisdom teeth taken out?
No, I need to because this one's like crowded right there. I need to. Did you?
I got them taken out. I was like 18.
Did you film it?
No, I wasn't. There wasn't YouTube back then.
There wasn't the trend.
Trisha goes, did you film it? A little shady jab at Colleen filming everything.
Old lady now.
Wait, I didn't know. Okay.
When I was 17, 18 now.
I was 18 when I started YouTube.
You were 18?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you're a lot younger than me.
No, I think like 2 years younger. Were we 86?
Yeah.
I'm 88.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
thinking. You were 18? I guess I was 21. Yeah, I was 21.
It's crazy to think.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, anyway, I was 17, I think, and I did not film it, but it wasn't that crazy of an experience. They put me under, and then I just woke up and I was kind of out of it, and my recovery wasn't that bad, but my husband, Eric, just got his wisdom teeth taken out, like, a year ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it was weird. They didn't put him under. They gave him what they call like, they're like, oh, we don't put you under. We're gonna give you the blue pill. It's only like it's like only legal in.
This is that exciting part of the trailer we saw about it being Viagra or something like
Vegas
that.
or something, or like they're like or no, they said the one in Vegas, and I was like, what does that mean?
The pill in Vegas.
They were like, oh, the blue pill, the one in Vegas, and I was like, first of all, I have no idea what you're talking about. What does that mean? But I guess it's like I don't even know. I'm not gonna say what it is or what it isn't because I have no idea. But it's like. It makes you not remember anything essentially. So it's like gosh. I think it's like
this is like the equivalent of what they give you at the doctors, but okay.
I feel like it's gotta be illegal. Like it cannot be a legal thing. But anyway, she was like
like erases your memory.
She was like, yeah, he only dentists are allowed to have this pill or something. I don't know. It was so weird and shady.
Was it in Vegas or was it here?
No, we were in LA, but it was like an LA, you know, like one of those kind of dentists, and it was just kind of like, is this legal? Like, I feel like this isn't legal, but maybe it totally is. I have no idea. But it was just a weird thing.
Did he take it?
Yeah, he had to. That's how they do it. So it was so weird because like
I'd be scared.
I know that they put me under, and I don't remember any of it because I was asleep. Like you know, I wasn't awake, but. I went with him because he can't drive himself, obviously, and they gave him the pill, and they're like, here, take this and go sit next to your wife, and we'll come get you in 15 minutes when it kicks in. So we're sitting there, and I was like, how do you feel? He's like, fine.
I mean, I would prefer that over being put under. Thank you, it's my little stitch one.
Fine. And then 15 minutes passes, and they're like, all right, you want to come with us? He's like, okay. And he stood up and walked back, and I was like, what? Like, they're just going to go cut his teeth out right now? And to me, it was so weird because he just was awake and fine. And so then during it, you know, it happens, whatever. And then I go to pick him up and he's talking to me. He was like, they wheeled him out in a wheelchair, I guess, for a procedure. But then he got in the car and he was a little loopy, but like, he was like,
whatever it is, I want it.
Kind of fine. And I was like, how'd it go? Do you remember anything? Like, and he's like, I remember it all. And he told me in detail what happened to him. Like, he's like, I felt and heard them ripping. I felt I literally could vomit. Like,
that makes me like, thinking about that, I'm like,
this is what's crazy, is he tells me in detail what happened, tells me about in detail the sounds he heard, how it felt.
Oh my God.
The pain, the blood. He took pictures of it with his phone. Like, all this stuff, and he was like, it was crazy, whatever. And so then I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this to him when he was like conscious, and like, I can't believe, and like, I felt like I just went through it because of how like traumatic he explained the situation.
Oh my God, I've been tagged in that video on TikTok too.
So we get home, I
thank you for tagging me, spill some
tea. You need to rest. Here's your medicine. Here's, you know, a smoothie with a spoon, you know, feeding him whatever. The next day, like, you know, he's kind of out of it all day. The next day,
riveting.
I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, with everything, like, he's like, yeah, I mean, I don't remember.
Colleen telling other people's stories because she has nothing better to talk about. Yeah, she can give you mommy or she can give you someone else's life.
I don't remember any of it. So, like, he was still out of it when I picked him up, but he was awake. So he told me the whole experience because he remembered it when he was still under the drugs or whatever. But once the drugs were off, he didn't remember any of it. He was fine. But I remembered it all because he told me everything. So I have like...
So Colleen has trauma from it and he doesn't. Someone else went into surgery and Colleen has the trauma from it.
I was like, wait, so now I'm like, have this like weird feeling about this pill because like he did feel it.
Oh my God.
Because he told me about it. So he did in that moment feel it and experience it. But then the next day, he just doesn't remember it anymore.
Oh my God.
So, like, that's weird, right?
It scares me because I'm not a conspiracist at all, but I think of, like, the Britney Spears conspiracy and all this stuff. Like, our government has all these pills that can, like,
what is that?
That's like Men in Black. You know, when they're like, yeah, that's crazy where they take, like, your memory.
Because it wasn't, like, for me, like, I literally was asleep. I was under. Like, so I do not remember.
Everyone
Obviously, any of it. But, like, for him that he remembered all of it and told me.
How did this conversation start?
He told me the ripping of his gums, the ripping of the tendons or whatever on the back of the molars, how deep they had to dig. That one of them was in pieces and they took it out piece by like, I mean, he told me so many gross details. Sorry, oversharing, but like he really did. And I was like, he remembered he felt every second of this. This is bananas. And the next day he was like, yeah, I didn't feel anything. And right after it happened, he was talking about how much pain he was in. I'm near tears. This grown man, like,
This grown man was crying. Can you believe that? A grown man crying? No. Not the mental health advocate, Colleen.
Agony. The meds aren't working. I'm in so much pain to the point where I called the doctor, which I don't do. I don't talk on the phone. And I certainly don't talk on the phone to doctors. And I called him. I was like, my husband is...
I thought that's how you texted people, though. You do it, you know,
agony.
you send voice memos.
He needs drugs. Like, you give me like a single Vicodin pill, like a single any painkiller of any sort.
And they didn't.
They gave him like the strong ibuprofen ones, like this, you know, there's like, sometimes they give you those ibuprofens. They're like, I'm like, I could have taken 3 of these at home. Yeah. Like, I didn't need a prescription for this, like, you know what I'm talking about? They're like 60 milligrams. And I'm like, I could take...
No, those do nothing. They needed like Vicodin.
Right, that's what I thought. And so I was like, please, I was like, he needs something. He's in agony pain. And her response was, he won't remember it tomorrow. And I was like, but he remembers it right now. Right, he's in pain. And I didn't believe her. I was like, he's like near tears. He's in agony. Please. Like, I'm changing the gauze out of his mouth and he's like yelling. Like, it's and she's like, I promise you he's fine. He won't remember it tomorrow. And then the next day, he didn't remember it.
That messes with like your neurology. That's like your brain.
Like,
they're
but
altering that.
He's. I'm looking at him. He's a human being. I'm looking at his experience, and I'm watching him in pain. I'm watching my husband in pain. I know he is in pain because he's telling me, and I can see it. But just because he won't remember it tomorrow, does that make it okay that
Trisha's tried like every drug, so she doesn't give a fuck about this.
he's in pain now? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a weird, like...
But I wonder if he couldn't mix. Like, he couldn't take a Vicodin with whatever they gave him.
Sure, I trust the doctor, of course. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like,
no, I know, but that's not a good thing, though. Like, if you can't take Vicodin with something, then it's something so strong that it messes with... I never heard something altering your brain. I mean, that's literally like a hallucinogen or something.
Isn't that bizarre?
That's weird. To take out your memory, once you remember something and take it out, like, that's weird. And how far back do they go? How do they know to only take out the memory from that moment?
Like, it was also weird. And, like, I know I sound stupid talking about this, and maybe I don't know. You guys can tell me, like, did anyone else have their wisdom teeth taken out with some fancy pill that like makes you feel everything, but then you just forget that you felt it?
Why are you asking the audience if they've experienced it? If you said 20 minutes ago that whenever you're sitting with Trisha, you don't feel like there's a camera in front of you. Go back to your previous lie.
Because to me, I'm like, I wouldn't do it. Like,
never,
now I'm
never.
like, if I hadn't got my wisdom teeth taken out yet, and I saw that experience, I'd be like, I will not do it unless you put me under. Because to me, I'm like, but he did feel it. I don't care that he doesn't remember it the next day because I watched him feel it.
Right.
I watched him be in pain. Like he remembered it all in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, isn't that bizarre?
No, that's weird. But I'm like, people.
Everyone in chat being like, next topic, please.
Just do it. I guess I'd probably be on that same way. But that is scary. And also, like, I just don't really understand the part of like how you only like lose that memory. How
I guess it's just like only when that pill is in effect in your bloodstream, like everything that happens to you while that pill is in your body. I guess then you just don't remember it or something.
It scares me because like, what if they give that to like a pregnant person like in the hospital and they take their baby and then like, oh, you don't remember having like your baby or something? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I was so scared of that. Like now they have like the bracelets for your baby in the hospital, but like I was so scared someone would like take your baby. I don't know. You always
we already talked about this, ladies. Come on. Oh my God, Hailstorm! Thank you so much. Thank you.
But
wrap it up, ladies.
A lot as a kid, maybe it was Lifetime movies and stuff. That, like you always keep your baby with you. So I was really, when Flynn was born, I was like, he can't leave our side ever. Yeah. Like if they ever take him to do whatever test or whatever, obviously Eric was always with him if he ever had to leave the room. But with the twins, like we had to leave them. Crazy, you have a kid at home, like. I had to leave them, and that was awful because it's like you just leave. It feels so unnatural. Just
I know. Remember when we talked about this 30 minutes ago?
Leave your child.
I know,
and they're of course in the best care. The NICU nurses are.
Of course, Colleen managed to somehow bring it from drugs to mommy again.
Another breed of human. They are angels. On
Happy 1 hour mark, everyone! Yay.
Earth, but like. It's still so unnatural as a mom to be like, I guess I'm leaving my brand new baby that's supposed to still be in my body that came out too soon to go home. Like,
I mean, it has happened. Like there was one in like Riverside Hospital where I was born. Like nurses, maybe not to say like all nurses. I think it's definitely happened for sure. It's like really that's why I was scared.
The
like,
dental drugs, mommy's
I feel
baby.
Like it's like a rumor that I've heard, but like never actually.
No, there was one.
A comment from my mother. I need a blue pill to forget this podcast. And you wonder where I get it from.
Like right before I gave birth, there it happened. I mean, and like every profession there's best. So again, I'm not like saying that against nurses. Every profession there's like
amazing.
Yeah, of course. But like, I mean,
girl, you said you wanted to strangle your nurse. Colleen, I mean.
You're in, you gotta be like.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I always think. Oh my God. I'm gonna switch topics too many times. Wait, did you have something else you wanted to say?
You're gonna switch topics too many times, girl. We are an hour in and we've had 2 topics.
Because I don't want to like go bananas.
Blue pill. I was just thinking of like the blue pill.
What's that mean? Just the blue pill. Oh no, I'm really dumb. Am I dumb? I don't know. I'm like, okay.
I'm so obsessed with in the trailer they edited the previous conversation with this one to make it look more interesting when in reality the Viagra comment was much later.
Wait, is there
like Viagra?
Oh, that blue
Viagra.
pill. They just referred to it as the blue pill.
The blue pill. There was, the only sponsorship I was able to get, it was like, I think it was called Blue Chew, and it was like a Viagra or something like that. And I was like, I'll take it. I never heard back from them, but they went.
Oh no, I did not. My brain didn't go there. But I also, this is another reason I think this would be an interesting podcast situation is because I was raised so conservative and so closed-minded and sheltered that I feel like I still
really I would have never guessed, brother.
Still to this day have moments like that where everyone's like, how do you not know what this is? And I'm like, because I didn't learn it. And then like there's so many times all the time with my husband, with Corey, with like people all the time where they're like, I pretend I know things that I definitely do not because I was so sheltered growing up. and even through college, I was super sheltered because I went to a private religious university too. So like up until my 20s, I like didn't know about a lot of things.
You just didn't date in like high school. I mean, I didn't either.
I didn't date because I didn't like, no one was interested. So like I didn't have a boyfriend until after college, and I only had he was like, I dated him for a month and he cheated on me the whole time, and that was it.
Did you have a gay boyfriend in college?
No, my best friend did. John, he's fabulous.
Oh yeah, we love him.
Heather, she's like one of my best friends in college, and she dated this awesome guy, John, who's like one of my besties, and he was, in the closet because you had to be at that school. And then when he came out, they broke up, and it was like big drama because she was like, she doesn't think this now. They're best friends now. Like she literally just, I think she goes,
she doesn't think this, but I think this.
He was a best man in his wedding. He just got married to this lovely man. But anyway, she at the time was like, I can fix you. God put me in your life so that I can make you straight. So like, these are the things that like, I think I was 22 or 21 when that happened. And even then, even though my views were still warped and I still was like, thinking things that probably weren't so great, I at that point knew like, you can't. Yeah. No, he's gay. Like it's like a done thing.
Yeah.
Like
why are we talking about other people's stories and not hers? Because why would she talk about herself? She doesn't have her kids with her. She has nothing to talk about.
The gay person.
But that's, I think, growing up too, like in my town, people thought that like you could like change a gay person. Like they were gay because they watched something. Yeah, they chose it. So like, I mean, I grew up that way too. It wasn't until like I was in LA that I like met a gay person, well, at least out gay person, and I was just like, oh, this is like, because they made it seem like growing up it was very like,
Girl, I thought you were a gay person. You've said that.
Something happened to them that they became gay. Like, I don't know. It was like such a weird thing. So I grew up like super ignorant too. That's why, and I think, not to again like put excuse, but I think some of that too, like growing up, it was like you just hear stuff and you just are like ignorant to it. I never met anyone that wasn't like, that was gay before I moved to LA. And I thought that was like, I don't know.
I was just, thinking, I thought this would be interesting only because I am so sheltered and like, I don't know. And I'm also very goody two shoes and like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. And I'm like, always like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And I'm like, always.
Girl, bullshit.
It's just like, I never want to break the rules.
Bullshit.
And I always, whatever. And your life experience has been much different than mine. I feel like you're much more worldly than I ever was.
No, but honestly, I yes and no, because I'm like...
Girl, what's that supposed to mean? People this entire week, including your own fans, have been drawing parallels between both of your lives. You're both like this.
I've been very sheltered. I didn't have a boyfriend either until I was like in my 20s or whatever like that. I'm
really
the same, but I feel like I always wanted to like, I pushed myself to be like bad and like put myself in bad situations. Like I wanted to be like, I just always sought out like people being like rough or bad or something, like, oh, let me do some drugs, let me do this, even though it's like not in my inherent thing. But I consider myself sheltered growing up, and I was the same way. Like, I don't know what I can say on here, but like BJ, I didn't know what that was. So I was like,
BJ.
when they said that, I was like, what is that?
You can say whatever you want. It's our thing. No one's watching this anyway. You can say whatever. No one's watching this at this point. They've all turned it off. Right when we started to get serious about like our births, they were like, okay, this is not what we thought it was going to be. This is
girl, at least she's self-aware.
I didn't know any terms. I thought spooning was dirty.
Someone said we wish.
I didn't know what anything was. I really didn't know, because I didn't kiss anyone, until like maybe I was 20. So I was kind of the same way.
Yeah.
And I grew up pretty, like...
I wasn't expecting... I didn't... Not that I thought anything bad about you or whatever. I just didn't expect... Because, like, I seen pictures of you in, like, high school and stuff, and you look like the...
Not that I didn't think anything of you. She's basically just admitting that she talked about her.
Popular, like...
Oh, no.
Girl, whatever. I was like, yeah, she get it. Like, I was, like, the girl who, like, ate behind a bush, like, outside the theater, and I, like, say, ate in the choir room. Like, I was like, this is the only place I'm safe.
That's so, yeah, I ate alone, too. I wasn't, like, bullied. I just wasn't, like, popular either. I just didn't have friends either way. It's kind of
You didn't have a boyfriend in high school?
No boyfriend, no
Did you go to dances?
No.
I didn't either.
No. I just was like, no one asked me either, so I think if I was asked. Yeah. I was voted homecoming queen, but I didn't have a date, so I went to go get my...
Hello. You're like the most popular person I've ever met in my life.
First of all, that was in a new school, and they hated everyone else, so like by default, they're like, we'll just give it to this new girl. I was literally there for like 2 months, and they gave me the homecoming queen. So
oh my god, that's so famous.
It was also a small town in Illinois with 60 people, so it was
Illinois. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it was really small. I moved to the day of my graduation because it was so closed-minded and sheltered, and I was just like, okay.
Oh my god, that's great. Did you do theater in high school?
I did, yeah. I was just like extras. So, yeah, because
I love that you call it extras.
I'm not even gonna complain just because we're not on a topic that isn't mommy, so.
Is that what it is?
Ensemble. But I love that you call it extras because that's so Hollywood. Like,
oh my god. Well, also I used to call cast recordings. I used to call them like CDs
albums
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, I love like the Wicked album, and they're like, they're cast recordings, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
No, I welcome anyone who likes theater. I don't care what the knowledge, if it's a little bit or a lot. It's my favorite.
I love musical theater. I always have. I was in the ensembles. I was
what
always
shows?
like,
okay, I want to know.
Oh, everything. Also, like, we did a lot of Joseph. It was a small...
Joseph, a classic.
It was very, like, those kind of shows. We weren't allowed to do Rent. I didn't even see Rent until I was, like, 20. I was like,
oh
this
my
is the
God,
scandalous.
Rent was such scandal. I remember the first time hearing, my first time hearing Rent was in high school. I think I was, like, a sophomore or something. And the seniors were sitting in the lobby of the auditorium, and they started singing, like, La Vie Boheme.
Oh, wow.
And they were all singing all the words because they were, like, you know,
even I was going to say, right, the theater kids were mean to me.
The good colleges... good at your craft, not that I'm saying I'm good, but like the best way to like become a good performer is to perform. Like it's the only way to like, you can take as many classes as you want, you can take as many lessons as you want, but like until you're on that stage performing in front of an audience, like you can't truly learn how to like fully do it, because that's the best way to learn. And so like for me it was so appealing that like I could be on stage kind of all throughout the whole year, every year of my whole college,
to get that practice, to get the feel.
Yeah, granted it was all like very much altered to fit the, you know, panic, how I was taught. I'm not saying all Christians think this or feel this way. This is how I was taught. So like, it was really scary for me the first few times I like even entertained the idea of talking about ghosts or spirits, because I was like, well, Satan's going to get me if I even talk about this. So like, I can't even talk. I can't even think about it, because like God will know and Satan will be excited and come take me and possess me. So like, I literally for real thought that. So like,
no, it's scary.
But now, like, I became friends with a ghost hunter randomly enough when I was doing a show in Provincetown. Oh my gosh. And he's lovely. And I like actually asked him about it. I was like, what is a ghost? What is a demon? Like, when you look for ghosts, what do you find? Like, how do you do it? And he explained things to me so well that like it made so much sense. And like, then I became interested in it. And I feel like I've had a lot of paranormal experiences.
Really?
Yes.
So do you, paranormal, so would you provoke them? Like, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to go ghost hunting because I don't want to like disturb the ghosts.
So there's a way to go about it, which is why I always would like consult with him before I would.
Okay.
The few times I've ever like gone ghost hunting or whatever, I always talk to him first and go, hey, help me. So I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to like trigger anybody or like.
Oh my God, Colleen caring about cancel culture even when she's going ghost hunting. I don't want to upset anyone. I don't want to have to make any apologies. Can we do it without upsetting anybody?
Certain people who passed on, I don't want to do this incorrectly, because like, you know, if you're talking to spirits of people who passed on, we don't know if this is real or not. We don't know anything. So it's like, but I don't want to like.
You believe it's like, you think it's.
I don't know what I think. I think that like.
So you're ghost hunting, but you don't believe in it. Fascinating. I love ghost hunting. I want to go to a ghost hunting thing. They do them in like London and like real ones. You know what I mean? Not like woo.
Experiences that can't.
I haven't had a facial expression in like 30 minutes.
Explained otherwise.
What was like scary, or are they good? Because you know, like sometimes like, what if you saw like your grandpa or something? You know what I mean? That's like a good.
I've had both. So like my house that I currently have, I think is haunted, but not in a bad way. Yeah. Like it's just anyone who's spent the night at that house, like Corey, my husband, me, everyone who's ever been there. If you're there at night, you'll hear kids laughing and giggling that are not my.
And it's definitely not her kids, because why would they laugh or giggle? Fuck me. What a weird way to address that. And she's like, not my kids. She goes, the weirdest thing. The house is haunted. If you listen close, you could actually hear kids enjoying themselves.
My children, they're asleep.
It's probably nice hearing kids have fun in her house.
You'll see, the biggest thing in that house is you see people in it of your peripheral vision. And when you turn your head, they're gone. Everyone has had this separately in my house, but like, oh my God. It's like we all like, and when we say it, the first time we said to each other, we're like, the first time I said to Corey, he's like, oh my God, that happens to me too. I see it all the time. I see people out of the corner of my eye and I turn, they're gone. Like, it's crazy.
You don't get scared?
No, because I think whoever these spirits are, ghosts or whatever, energies or whatever people could say it is, or what, I don't even know what I think it is. I think they're just people who just have lived there or have been there in the past. And so like, they're not hurting anyone. They're not there to get revenge on anything or do anything. They're not there to harm us. They're just like, they just exist there, and they're just like, hey, what's up? Like, I never have felt scared.
That's good. So you have like, okay, that's good.
My door in the middle of the night will just like, with no wind or anything, will just like, it happened last night. My door will just
Girl's never heard of a draft in her life.
Halfway open, no pets or anything walking in and out of the room. It'll just, no wind, no air conditioning on, like just.
That's crazy.
Go scare me. I'm not gonna lie. If I saw something like that happen, I would probably move.
Normally, I would freak out about something like that. Every ghost experience I've had in the past, I've been terrified of. But in this house, I'm not kidding. It really doesn't feel threatening. It just feels like, oh, hey,
right,
like, what's up?
Do you think it's something where, because I totally believe
This is a crazy conversation.
in spirits, obviously, and stuff like that. Do you think it's something where it's like, if you believe it, you see it? Because I always think like, well, it's not that I don't believe in them, but I just like pretend like they don't exist, or I'm like, okay, it doesn't exist, that doesn't happen, so I don't see it.
I mean, it could all be total baloney and like none of it's real, and I make it all up in my head.
No, not
No,
that.
it could be. It could be.
Yeah.
I literally don't know. So like, to me, it's like I've experienced weird things. It could be coincidence. It could be the universe. It could be spirits. I literally don't know.
Only Colleen would think children's laughter is haunting because she hates children.
Know what it could be.
Yeah.
But I just know I've had weird experiences. But I do think that's true, what you're saying. Like, you kind of have to be open to it to experience
to
it.
see it.
And I was growing up like, well, if you're open to it, that means you're open to letting Satan get inside of you and possess you, which is why you're not allowed to think about it or even talk about it or anything, because...
Interesting point Minchild said, just like on like an actual like random conversation. I feel like my sound has gotten so low. I still sound fine? Like, I don't know. Oh, I fixed it. My earphones just went out. Basically, I think spirits won't waste time on, people who don't really care to see it, which is an interesting
If you open
point.
yourself up to it, Satan's gonna get you.
Right. The Ouija board scared me for that reason. I was like, I don't want anyone to come kill me, because I thought like demons could like kill you and stuff.
Yeah, Ouija boards were like, for some reason of all the things, Ouija boards were like the most satanic thing.
Did you do one? I've never done one. I don't want to do one.
I've done it as an adult, like for videos, like a joke as Miranda.
Did you feel anything?
No, I mean,
those things can
no. But like, I mean, I put string on it and pulled it myself. Like I was like, it was like
oh my
a
God,
joke.
do people know that? Is that tea?
You can see the string. Like it's like,
That's like we faked videos back in the day.
I did fake. You know what I did fake? I wonder if I've ever said this up.
What did you fake? I faked. Oh, it's the cinnamon challenge. I forgot. They already put this in the fucking trailer.
Loud, probably, but maybe not.
Oh my God.
I fully faked the cinnamon challenge.
Oh, because I heard people died from that. I was so scared to do it.
Cinnamon challenge, yeah.
Her
When I
marriage.
did it was like the very beginning of it. It was before everyone was like, "This is dangerous. Don't do it."
What did you do? How did you
I
fake
used
it?
cocoa powder. It looks like cinnamon, and I filled a cinnamon thing with cocoa powder, like Hershey's cocoa powder, and so it wasn't spicy, but it still does dry out your mouth and make you cough and choke.
Oh yeah, that I
But
didn't
it
get.
didn't. It wasn't spicy on my throat.
So what did you do? Did you pretend like it was like?
Yeah,
so
literally,
hot?
it's a 2-second video as Miranda. Like I put it in my mouth and I was like, blah, and I'm like, Mom, and then the video's over. Like it's 2 seconds long.
Okay, real quick, I have to ask this because this is always something I've always wanted to ask you about Miranda. It's like, okay, so it's like obviously it's a troll, it's a character, or I guess it's a character, not a troll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a character. Yeah.
But did you think of it? Because in the early, I did so much research because like when I was like, okay, I gotta like look this all up. When you early did it, you weren't like. She wasn't so outlandish looking.
No.
So were you just like, I'm just gonna troll people or whatever like that?
No,
or like,
I literally, because when we started, there wasn't like a career on YouTube. Like when we started YouTube.
Right.
I mean, maybe you saw a different side of YouTube than I did, but like back when I started uploading, it wasn't like, oh, I could become a YouTuber.
No,
that didn't exist. It was just like, oh, it's a website you can upload videos to.
Yeah.
So, when I first started doing Miranda, it was like a joke for my friends.
Yes, Colleen. And when did you decide to add the incest jokes?
Like I was like, oh
Miranda.
my gosh, this YouTube website is crazy. People will just like talk to the camera and upload it on the internet for people to see. Like honestly, like what you were doing.
Right.
To me at that time was a crazy concept. Now it's common. All we do all day is talk to cameras.
Yeah.
But like back then, that was a pretty new concept in my mind. Like this person is in their kitchen or in their bedroom just talking to the camera or singing, and then they just upload it for the world. Like that was so bizarre to me.
Were people singing on there already?
Yeah, so I was watching musical theater, like kids and people like singing in their kitchens or singing in their bedrooms or whatever. And some of them were great and some of them were not good.
Right.
And like
I love her storytelling of how she came up with Miranda changes over the years, because it originally started where she was like, I just wanted to bully people. I wanted to make fun of people. They were so shitty and so cringy that I wanted, to make fun of them and for the world to know that I was making fun of them and stuff. And now she says, like, there were people that just weren't really good at singing, so I just wanted to, like, make a character that kind of showed that. She's, like, watered it down over the years.
it was just fascinating to me, this new concept of like anyone anywhere can upload a video of themselves doing whatever they want, and they're voluntarily doing this to be criticized like by just strangers. Like this is crazy. It was weird to me at the time. So in the beginning, the Miranda videos were just like, oh my gosh, kind of poking fun at that concept of like a person
Poking fun of that concept. No, she used to say that she would do it to make fun of the girls that she didn't like. Girl, she is changing her story. Ooh.
and who would film themselves and post it on the internet.
This is a long-ass
my job, which is
podcast.
hilarious, but like I was kind of like imitating girls that weren't very nice that I went to school with, and like I put it online just to send to my friends.
Oh, interesting.
And
because I hear
to make fun of the concept of people being bad. Not to actually make fun of people being bad, just the concept. the concept.
I'm like, is that really true? Someone just wanted to send it to friends.
I really, I swear to you.
No, I know. I hear those.
Oh, get her, Trish.
My personal channel, Colleen Ballinger channel, I had to upload videos of me performing in college to send to my parents and to family members, and like post on my Facebook and be like, just me singing this weekend, like so, like.
But you literally singing good singing.
Yeah, like singing at recitals and like in musical theater shows and whatever. Like, so the first like 10, 15 videos on my personal channel are me performing in college, and that's what I use that channel for, and that's how I found videos of people singing, because related videos or whatever would be, of other kids singing songs or adults singing songs that I was singing, and I was like, oh my god.
The mental gymnastics Colleen is going through to explain it in a way that doesn't reflect Pearly on her.
This is wild. So starting the Miranda things completely as a joke to send to my friends, but then I didn't get a lot of views at first, obviously, so but I would get a random person every once in a while who'd comment like, you're not good. And I was like, wait, they think I'm real? Like, this is a joke. Like, it's a character, but people think it's real. So I kind of leaned into that. And I would, like, if people said they didn't like something, I'd kind of do it more. It's like, oh, my God, your lipstick looks bad. Or, like, oh, you're singing, your vibrato is really bad. So I'd be like, oh, I'm going to do it more because they didn't like it. And other people thought it was funny. So I'll just keep going.
Interesting.
But then I got...
Trisha. Interesting. Doesn't care.
Once it started to go viral, like a year-ish after I posted the first Miranda video, my first one went viral, and I got a lot of advice from people in the industry, and a lot of people were like, you can't let anyone know you're an actor, you have to keep the straight up, like, so I got a lot of advice from people to, like, basically to troll, and before that term really existed for the internet, but I wasn't doing it to piss people off. I was doing it to be silly and funny.
Girl, she is just rewriting history. There are interviews of her saying that she was doing it to annoy and piss off people. Like, she is just completely rewriting it to look as good as possible next to Trisha fucking Paytas.
And, like, there was a community of theater people who thought it was funny. And I liked that theater people thought I was funny.
You were, like, clapping with, like, Adam Pascal and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
The beginning of my career was, like, all Broadway
You did
people.
light my candle with him, right, as Miranda?
I did light my candle with, I think, Adam Pascal. And I did, with Lin-Manuel, we did a song from Spring Awakening together.
Oh, my God. That's...
But there's so many. We were just talking about Sweeney Todd and Annalee Ashford. She was in one of my shows. I did a gig with Sutton Foster.
Ariana Grande.
Ariana, of
which
course.
is crazy. Like she's like in Wicked now.
I know, she's iconic. And
That's
crazy.
Colleen, I'm not a troll. Also, Colleen describes how she was being a troll.
There's so many people at the beginning of my career was bananas because I only know musical theater people. So like every musical theater person I ever loved, like Carrie Butler and Sutton Foster. And
did you know Carrie?
Yes. And I like
Little Shop.
So many. Oh, she's
and
lovely.
Beetlejuice and everything she's been in.
Wonderful. So like, but that was so exciting to me that like all these people I idolized my whole life now were like in my Miranda show.
That's crazy. That's like because Broadway people too. I love them, but they are very. They know they're good. They're very like. I'm surprised they would like poke fun at them because when you're so talented, so good on YouTube.
Because Colleen wanted to. Colleen was a bully. You're like, I don't know how Jesus. I don't know how musical theater people would do it, make fun of people. Because she was doing it because she was a bully. It doesn't, show how all of them are like.
Because you're such a good singer, to go the route of, like, being a bad singer, I was like,
Well, I never intended for it to become a career or anything. I never thought it would go anywhere.
Fun,
It just, like, happened, and then I've ended up having so much fun with it. But then, like, over time, it's changed. Miranda's changed a lot. So at the beginning, I was just, like, singing bad, and, like, I was...
And, yeah, what part did you bring in the incest jokes? When was that making fun of people from musical theater class?
Obnoxious, and like a few people saw it, and I thought it was my 15 minutes of fame, whatever. Like, this is fun and cute, and I love Broadway. People are entertained by it because I love Broadway. Literally dressed like freaking Roxy right now. But then over time, it kind of changed, and it kind of became like a character for young girls to be like, oh, it's okay to be weird and different, and it's okay to like do something even if you're not very good at it. Like
Girl, the character never gave that. What the fuck? We're saying that Miranda Sings was an inspirational character to be who you want to be. We are just lying. Why are we lying?
Sings, and she's like, I'm good at singing. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm just gonna sing. And like that was inspiring to kids and young girls, and like it kind of became like a somehow accidentally an inspirational kind of character for young girls.
Girl, it was not inspirational. Like,
and then also just someone to laugh at and people to poke fun at me and whatever, and it's just been so fun. And I love playing the character. It's so fun. And so I can't believe anyone still watches it. I can't believe anyone watches anything that
Did you stop though? You stopped for like a minute.
Well, yeah, it's weird. It's like becoming a mom has made it a lot harder to post, so I kind of stopped posting for a while because I'm just busy being a mom. And then once COVID hit, like I started vlogging every day, and that really consumed me. And like COVID was just weird. And so it was like,
such a weird time.
It felt like I didn't feel inspired to film anything creative. I just wanted to vlog my life, like making bread and like hanging out with my little kid. Like I didn't
bread, banana.
Literally, like I didn't feel inspired. And part of what inspires me as the character is performing live, because it's what I love to do and it's what I've always done. So I couldn't tour for a couple of years, and I just felt like uninspired, and I just felt like, what am I doing with this? Like I just didn't know, and I've always loved the character, but like it just felt like I had to put a little pause on it for a minute and be like, what do I do? What do I do? So I've been posting more on like TikTok recently, and I forgot to promote it. Oh my God, this is so me. I posted my first Miranda video back today.
Oh.
For the first time in like months and months and months.
That's what I thought.
Probably
Yeah, I thought it was like
months.
a pause. Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't intentional. It was like I always intended for it to keep posting, but it just,
Life.
other things are more important for the time being. But anyway, I literally posted one today. I was like, I had all this stuff to promote it, and I literally have not.
She goes, other things are more important, meaning her kids, and then goes, for the time being.
Been posted anything.
Because today was kind of a whirlwind. I feel
know,
like
but
there was
I'm
like a lot
that's
happening.
the most me thing in the world. I'm like planned all this. I'm like, I'm gonna post my first video back. It's gonna be so incredible. I'm like, I literally forgot I did that.
Going on.
Anyway.
No, but that's what made you always stood out was the character. It always like made you stood out because everyone's just like a YouTuber back then or whatever. But I think now people, it's so funny because I post my singing videos, and I think people think secretly I'm a really good singer, and that she's trolling people. You guys, she's just trolling with these bad singing videos. Like that's literally just my voice. It's literally not trolling at all. It's just
I feel like you have a lot of potential to like be very, very good. Like I feel like
You have potential to be good, Trisha. Considering Colleen is the best singer ever and can let you know, you have potential to be good.
So I was telling you before, your Suddenly Seymour videos, like, I think I was, like, extremely impressed by it. Those are high notes.
I've always wanted to do a singing video. I always wanted to do
You have potential to be good.
I think I don't know. Everyone else tells me I'm pitchy, off-key. I don't know where my note is. I don't know any of those things. I just kind of go with whatever. But I feel like I have performance and passion, you know?
You do.
So I just need
you have great
help.
stage presence. You have, I think you just need a little bit of guidance, but I think you're very, very talented. I genuinely think that.
You need guidance.
I appreciate coming from you.
I think we should do a duet. And we're literally just like Roxy and Velma, and it's a shame we're not doing one right now.
Let's do a harmony right now. There's a challenge on TikTok right now that's going on. I just saw it, and the last Christine and Phantom, it's like trying to be in the same key as Trisha. Every time I change key, they have to like change key with me. And
I wonder if I could do it.
Oh my, I know. I really was like, okay, but also I don't want to be that person. They're like, could you duet this, please? Because
I want to try.
There's so many Christines that did. The Broadway Christine did it, and like they're just trying to like madly try to change the key with me.
What song are you singing?
Phantom.
Oh my God! Like Think of Me or Phantom of the Opera, like the
Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, so I don't know. When people say that, I have no idea what that means. I'm like, to me, it sounds good. When
well, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. As long as it sounds good to you and you're having fun, who cares?
No, but like I always do. I have Broadway dreams, so I'm like, I
Colleen goes, I'm glad it sounds good to you, because to us, it sounds shit.
really should like try to learn to sing. I don't dance or anything either, but one day
you can dance. You post dancing videos all the time.
I mean, I've seen like Rosie O'Donnell and like Wendy Williams on Broadway, so that's like my goal is hopefully to get more popular and then Broadway will come
manifesting.
Yeah, I've been manifesting Broadway before. I've been manifesting a lot of things. It hasn't come out yet, but that's fine. It will eventually.
We'll just keep manifesting.
When I'm 60 or 70. Is something burning?
It does smell a little Bernie. It's like Bernie popcorn. Just so you guys know, I need you to know that we took a pause because we thought the house was burning down, and it wasn't. It's just that there's pizza being cooked, apparently, but it's actually being burned. But she said Tombstone, which made me go like, oh my God, Tombstone was my childhood because like that's what we could afford, and like it was so cheap. Yeah. I don't know if it is now. I don't get Tombstone now.
It is. It's like 3 for like 5 or something.
I'm like retaining none of this last section. Jesus Christ.
It's like super cheap. It's super cheap. And we did the Kraft mac and cheese in the box, and I still love it.
Of course.
So
why don't you get anything other than that?
So good. I mean, I do make really good homemade mac and cheese, but I was obsessed with spiral mac and cheese.
That's a different vibe, though.
Totally.
That's a different vibe. Like that's like you have to be in the mood for one or the other. Like if I want mac and cheese, like homemade mac and cheese isn't gonna cut it.
No, spiral mac and cheese.
Moses starting an actual fire to get Colleen to stop talking.
Bougie, then it's homemade.
Have you seen there's a TikTok where they put it in like wine glasses and they eat the mac and cheese out of the wine glasses with a dino nugget on the side? It's so cute.
No, but
I
that
love
sounds
it.
like we're doing that next time.
Because there's a new trend, like, I got a white boy on my roster, he eating pasta and lobster. You know that trend?
No, I don't know anything.
Okay.
I know, but my TikTok's horrible right now. It's just like all like really sad political things and like true crime and like I don't see anything fun right now.
Oh,
it's
I
like
skip
all
true crime too. Anytime I see true crime, I'm like skip. I don't like thoughts in my head like that. Once I start hearing thoughts, I get like scared and paranoid. I used to be so paranoid when I lived alone. I always thought someone was trying to come like unalive me. I hate those things.
Ugh.
And I know the true crime people really come for me. Do not come for them, because I'm always like, I don't get true crime. It's like gross and whatever.
I
like,
love true crime.
Really? Maybe you should do a true crime. Maybe that should be your next podcast, because that's popular right now. Is true crime podcast.
No, I don't know anything about it. I just like watching. I'm like I love documentaries, and I love, I think I like seeing justice being served. Like when bad things happen to people, I just want justice served.
Of course, Colleen, miss yet to have an opinion, would find something political boring.
Justice.
I know, I can't watch those.
That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes there's like no justice.
Honestly, like I'm the worst to watch movies with or documentaries with, because it's like if I hear there's a true crime documentary that's come out that's like getting a lot of attention, I'm like, well, does it end with the person being caught?
Right.
And if not, like if it's a cold case, and I can't watch it. I get too upset. Like
those
I need
scare me. Those ones that are cold cases for like 30 years and no one ever found anything about. I'm like, that's luckily now I feel like that can't happen with like rings and all this stuff like that and like tracking. I feel like there's
do people get away with stuff all the time? It's so scary.
Really? Okay, see, I don't like hearing it, because I'm like, oh, it scares me so much.
I don't know why I like true crime and documentaries, but I do.
Oh my god.
I love it.
Those podcasts are huge, because I know when we were talking to podcast companies, like, oh, are you interested in doing a true crime? And I was like, no. They were like,
no one would ever want to hear us talk about true crime. They'd be like,
no. And also you have to be like, you have to really really know your stuff.
You have to be super smart and like do all this. Yeah, you have to do so much. Sorry.
Andrew said it's really easy to chin them out.
Cut you off.
No, everything would just be like just questioning.
We've got like 5 minutes left, y'all. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and then we're done.
Because it's such a sensitive topic.
Of course, it's so sensitive, and there's also a lot of talk about like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I question myself. I'm like, okay, do the survivors of this victim like gives consent for these people to be talking about this story? Because like I don't want to disrespect the people who aren't with us anymore. So it's like, is there consent here so that like it's okay? Do they want like awareness to be spread about this?
Yes, we would love to listen to you talk about the dentist and repeat birth stories, not true crime
situation, or would they rather it be private? Because then I'm like, I don't want to be watching it or indulging in it if it's like, if it's not consented by the survivors of like the victim. I've
showered, went back from the gym, made an 8 foot, and they're still talking.
That's
why I never like Hollywood
so
stories
much
too,
fun.
Like Selena or Sharon Tate or like the Black Dahlia. It's like their lives are just kind of succumbed to like their death. You know what I mean? Like how they died. And I always get a little like, that's why I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because Quentin Tarantino, Sharon Tate got to live, and I thought, oh, that's like a better way to like celebrate her life. And her sister was like on board with it, because her sister was like, I don't like any of these things, that her life is just about her murder. And I think like, I don't know. For me, I don't want my life to be better, but that's how it is, I guess. Like Anna Nicole, everyone just knows about their death. It's like, it makes me sad.
I know.
And then I think about like, well, this is like, I guess this is like narcissism, and then I think about
Colleen going, oh no.
When I die,
doesn't give a fuck.
I don't want my life to be just like my death, but I guess that's what happens. That's why people tell life stories, is you have to tell the death of.
I don't know. I guess. Did you think about that when you were a kid? Oh my god, we need to shut up. The way we got this, our conversations are wild. But I genuinely.
We need to shut up and not talk, girl. You like what? This is a podcast. They're saying the most boring ass shit and then being like, "Oh, we're saying too much." Oh my goodness, girl.
You only just had the thought, like, I used to think about when I was a little girl, I would, like, literally remember being in my top bunk of my bunk bed, and be like, oh my god, what if I died tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
What would happen? Like, to my parents, would they be sad? Like, or what if my dad died tomorrow? Oh my gosh, that would be, what if my mom died? What if my, like, I would think about, like, a little girl.
I used to think about that all the time as a kid, and I had to, like, really get out of my head even now, because I was like, I always would think about that, like, they're not going to be here forever, but it's like, you just can't think about that stuff.
Why would our tiny little brains go to that?
I don't know. Maybe it's like what we were watching.
I don't know.
Like,
tiny little brain, because God forbid Colleen have a fat brain.
Yeah, I feel like people are worried about death in general. I try not to worry about it. I try to be like, well,
that's why we just gotta live our life now and dress up like Roxy and Velma for literally no reason.
Yes, no, I love it. I felt so, today was the best day ever,
was so
because
fun.
I feel like, again, being a theater kid, but a cool theater kid, and then it's like, Broadway manifesting all that.
We're cool to us. That's all that matters. You're all gonna tell us we're losers.
No,
we're cool.
You took it so seriously, though, which I love, because I take it seriously too.
I take theater very seriously.
Yeah, the dressing up, the costume. You were so good. I was just like, wow, like watching you, not to sound like weird or whatever, but I was like watching you. I was like, God, I feel like I'm like watching you on Broadway right now. And you were like performing in the photo shoot, the way you were like posing. And
I was just trying to keep up with you. Literally, during our photo shoot, I have to say this, the photographer, she's wonderful. She said something, Trisha, that no one has ever said to me in my life. She said, a little less sexy, Trisha. And I was like, I would never get that note.
No, because you were so theatrical.
I was like,
you look so good. No, it was saw the photos. I was like, oh, let me do that. That looks so much better.
No, you're always taking pictures. I only take pictures as like Miranda ever. So whenever I have to take pictures not as Miranda, I'm always like, what do I do with my body? So I literally was watching it at the beginning. I was like, oh, I guess we're putting our hand on her hip. Oh, we're making a serious face.
No, you like crushed it at the end. I was just like, wow, this is like really good. It was just fun. I've never done that either. And I've done like a photo shoot. It's like, wow, this is so cool. Like I've always just had really just Moses, which I love, but he can't do Roxy and Velma. So
well, he should have been what's his face, Billy Flynn.
Flynn.
Oh, we should have done that to do the movie poster.
Just being all of them.
That's it. We're dressing you up like Billy Flynn after this. I'm gonna Photoshop you into a picture.
I've done so many things. He's like, what am I dressed as today? I'm like, I'll just go with it.
That's so fun.
I tried to get him a Fiyero costume, but I didn't know what Fiyero looked like in the new live action. In the new movie. But he wears the same outfit as he does in the Broadway show. Oh. He's wearing green because I saw her bubble dress and he's wearing a green thing too. I was like, oh, he's wearing. Anyways, nobody cares.
I love that duet. Oh my god, the Long As You're Mine. What a beautiful duet.
Anyway, but see that.
I don't know what to do with my body in photos, aka justifying her body check.
That's what I like. Alpha, I think Alpha
she does love
like,
a body check.
Even though I love Glinda, I love her perkiness. I dress as like cosplayer all the time. I like Alpha's songs better.
Yeah,
they're so good. I mean, they're all good.
I love doing laugh.
Songs. I know, me too. I'm so
2 minutes.
I cannot wait. Oh my gosh. Okay.
We should stop it. I don't want to, but we will.
Anyways.
We have so much more to talk about, but we'll just have to talk about it next time if there's ever another episode.
There is.
Manifesting it.
Positive because I just like hanging out and dressing up, and hopefully this will be. My mom was telling me, she was, I think you guys are going to get 3 million views on the first video. I was like, wow.
Well, I love that manifestation. Watch us get 4. She's like 4, not 4 million, literally 4.
I was thinking 4. I love it. And I'm all about being delusional these days. I'm very hyped about things.
I always say that. I always say the key to success is...
Join social media sensations Trisha Paytas and Colleen Ballinger as they make podcast history in their first episode in this engaging conversation. They delve into their unique friendship, as in hating each other, the joys and challenges of being new parents, supernatural encounters, wisdom teeth tales, their love for theater, and their exciting plans for the channel's future.
To be delusional.
I mean, yeah.
I really think that's true. If you're like, well, I can do that. I can do a podcast. I can just dress
engaging
up like
is certainly an adjective.
That's crazy. We're delusional. Like, this is crazy.
No,
but
and
we're
I think
doing
that's
it.
a way to be. But you always hear people say that too, and I think that's why I never doubt myself with anything. I'm like, I do something. I haven't done a lot, but the things I have done, I feel like, oh, I did actually more than I thought I could.
Well, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons we wanted to do this is we both, I feel like, the biggest things in our career happen because we're like, I'm just gonna do it. Like,
yeah, right.
We have no place doing those things. Like, there's no reason why we should have been like,
we're back talking about the podcast setup again.
Made it happen, and so that's what made us go like, wait, why don't we just do it? Let's just do it. Let's see what happens.
It's the best way to go.
To me, like, I don't care if no one watches it or we never do it. I would love to do more, but like it doesn't matter because like this has been so fun and we did what we wanted to do. We wanted to dress up and have fun and talk.
And we're living our Chicago.
All right, I'm leaving it there. But I love that Colleen is the one driving this conversation about wanting to do this again, and then went immediately home and was like, "Oh, I don't think we're ever gonna do that again."